Hi, y'all. I am here to just talk about briefly go over the student loan relief, and of course, just do our regular credit Q&A. If you are watching from Facebook right now, well, let me wait till a few of y'all get in here because I know y'all probably mad at me. Hi, what are you guys doing? Are y'all off work? I tried to wait until it's 7:48 where I am, so I was like, maybe most people are probably like off work by this time. Some probably work nights though. Now that I think about it. Okay, so let me tell. Uh, mm, all right, so I'm gonna add Insta so I can have all of them up. Hey y'all. Okay, so first of all, if you are coming from Facebook right now, the reason why I have not been in the group is I got locked out of Facebook again. I pretty much got a new phone twice within the last like 45 days. And both times I had to reset my password. And because my page is verified, they make you like go through an extra step because they, think people are just trying to hack your page. So I locked my own stuff out of my account. And now I'm waiting for like the review team to let me back in. I had to like send my ID and all of that crap. And like they requested like 5 different documents, but I'm waiting on them to let me back in, so I'm not able to log into Facebook. I can broadcast to Facebook through the platform that I'm streaming on. But yes, I have not been in the group. The reason why y'all have not been getting any updates is because I cannot get into my Facebook. So yeah, when I'm back in, when I gain access back to my Facebook account, I'll of course continue to post updates in the group. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about the first thing. Yeah, I'm gonna get to you guys' questions. So the first thing that I wanted to cover is just the student loan relief update. For those of you who may not have seen my past updates, basically what's going on with the $10,000 and $20,000 relief credit is at any day now the application can open. What they gave was October of 2022, so we know that it's coming in October, but they didn't tell us exactly which day. The website has been like doing a lot of maintenance and just like basically prepping for the traffic that the application will cause. So if you do not already have a studentaid.gov account, you need to go create one, because in order to fill out the application, you're going to have an account anyway. Then 2, you'll be able to see if you actually qualify for the credit. And the qualifications for the credit is super simple. It's your income has to be below $125,000 if you are a single filer, or if you are filing married or head of household, you get up to $250,000. Your student loans has to be federal loans, so federally backed loans. It cannot be any private loans. Unfortunately, FFEL loans that were not consolidated prior to September 29th. Sorry, September 29th of this year. Unfortunately, if you have not consolidated those, they no longer qualify for that $10,000 or $20,000 credit. And I know, at first they were claiming that those loans would definitely be covered. I literally have a screenshot from the website showing where they literally said like they'll be covered, right? But they pulled the switcheroo, and unfortunately, the FFEL loans. I'm freezing. I think that's your device. I don't think I'm freezing. But yeah, so the FFEL loans, commercially owned FFEL loans are no longer eligible for that $10,000 and $20,000 relief credit. Yeah, that was insane. So yeah, those are no longer qualified. But if you have any other federal loans, you do qualify. If you ever received the Pell Grant while you were in school, you qualify for up to $20,000, as long as you meet the income requirements. You only have to have had the Pell Grant one time, like one semester. You don't have to have maxed it out. You don't have to, have it at least 3 semesters. No, as long as you have had it at least once, then you qualify for up to $20,000 credit, because there's no cash value. If you don't know if you received the Pell Grant or not, the easiest way to tell is to log into studentaid.gov, log into your account. And again, if you do not have an account, create an account, log into your account, and under My Aid, you will see all of your loans and all of your grants. If you ever receive the Pell Grant, it'll say, Pell Grant, and it'll say the amount that you received. Keep in mind, Pell Grant, you don't have to pay the Pell Grant back. So the $20,000 credit that you are eligible for goes towards your federal student loan balance. So let's say you owe $15,000 and you qualify for the $20,000 credit. There's no cash value to this credit. So they will pay up to what you owe. And then anything outside of that is done. It's gone. They won't mail you a check or anything like that. So there's no cash value. It is credit. Even if your student loans are in collection, even if you have late payments, even if they are defaulted, charged off, it doesn't matter. The status of them does not matter. You will still qualify. Also, even if you are still in school, any loans that you took out before June of 22, any loans you took out before June of 2022, they'll qualify. But any loans you took out after that, and going forward, they do not qualify for the relief credit. No, commercially owned FFEL. So there's two types of FFEL loans. Some are federally owned, and then some are commercially owned. I don't need to give y'all a freaking history lesson on the FFEL loans, but if you went to school before 2010, it is a very high chance that your student loans are FFEL. They were at one point like the main loan type, and after the recession in 2008, the companies, these private companies that own the student loans, they pretty much like sold majority of their accounts to the government, where the government bought majority of their student loan accounts. That's why a lot of FFEL loans are now federal, or a lot of people consolidated their FFEL loans into a direct loan. And as long as you did that before October 29th of this year, like literally, I mean, not October 29th, September 29th of this year. So like last week, if you did not consolidate your FFEL loans, unfortunately, they don't qualify for the credit. Even though, like I said, you were told in the beginning that they would. Unfortunately, the decision was made on the 29th or on the 30th that FFEL loans no longer qualify. Yes. So in terms of who has to apply, basically what they're saying is they do have some people's income information on file, but the only way to know if they actually have your income information on file is if you're currently on an active income-based repayment plan or an income-driven repayment plan. If you are actively on one of those, then yes, you don't have to fill out an application because they already have your income information. But if you are not on one, I would absolutely fill out the application. Keep in mind, we only have a limited time to fill out the application. I want to say December of next year, but don't wait, because y'all see what they just did with the FFEL loans. They told them that they had until December of this, like December 31st of this year. And then out of the blue, they changed the date and they can't apply anymore. So please do not wait. Like, yes, they say we have until next year to apply. Do it immediately when it opens. But no, the application has not opened yet. It's going to open soon. They just said sometime in October. Everyone is just predicting that it's soon because the website has just been closed down a lot for maintenance and just like insider reports and stuff. They're just saying like they suspect it's going to come like within the next week. So hopefully it does. There's no form. Well, I guess it's a form. You need to create an account at studentaid.gov, because when you apply for the relief aid, you have to apply with your account anyway. So if you don't have an account, go and create one. Do it like before the application opens, because the traffic on the website is probably going to crash the first day. I'm sure it is. No, it's not open yet. It's not. The application hasn't opened as of yet. I am definitely like looking every hour. The website is studentaid.gov. Studentaid.gov. If commercially owned, can they be removed by bankruptcy? I mean, at that point, they're just a private loan. So I'm not sure. They are still considered student loan. I don't know. I asked a bankruptcy attorney because I'm not sure. That is not my, area of expertise. Good question though. So you can have commercial FFEL loans and direct. Yeah. So some people have a mix. Some people have all commercially owned, and then some people have all federal owned FFEL loans. The sucky part about it is when the government was purchasing the accounts from those private banks and credit unions, it's not like the consumers had a say. So it's not like I can say, no, I want to make sure that my account is included in the ones that the government purchased, right? They didn't have a choice. So now the people whose loans happen to not get bought, like they're just SOL. Like it's a sucky situation. They're just yes. No. So FFEL ended in 2010. So if you got a student loan after 2010, then your loan was never an FFEL loan. The program ended in 2010. But if you did go to school before that, it is a possibility that you have these type of loans. It's a possibility. So you're saying that we have to fill out the application to see if we qualify for it, or is it an automatic qualification? Not just I don't know how to answer that other than the qualifications are super simple. They're super black and white. So as long as your income was reported to the IRS, like in terms of your taxes, as long as your income on paper is below $125,000 if you're a single filer, or below $250,000 if you filed head of household, or if you filed married, like married filing jointly, or filed married, Lord. So unless the only thing that would not qualify you is if you made too much or your student loans are private owned as opposed to federally owned. So it's just super black and white. So it's not even you filling out the application to see if you're qualified. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, yeah, you either qualify or you don't. Yeah, so basically what they're trying to do, they're trying to reduce all of the credits by the end of the year. Like they're trying to reduce everyone's balance by the end of the year, because in January the payments start back. So the payment pause end on December 31st of this year. January 1st, whoever still has an outstanding balance on their student loans, you're subject to at that point it's open for repayment. So everyone's student loans, well, federal student loans, has been paused for over 2 years now at this point. So it does end in December. So if you haven't been paying for your student loans in January, we do have to start paying for the student loans again if you still have a balance. So again, like I said, their goal is to wipe away everyone's student loan, who qualify for the $10,000 or $20,000 credit. They're trying to apply those by the end of the year, so that people know if they need to begin paying their loans come January or not. What year in taxes? So it's conflicting reports, and the official report was not clear. But what I have been seeing is they will not consider any income before 2019. So between 2019, 2020, 21, and then, well, not 22, because it's not, you haven't filed it yet. So 19, 20, and 21, you have to have a file return. And if you haven't filed 19, 20, or 21, you need to file by December. You need to file by the end of the year so that you can apply. If I can get my words to come out. Mohila, they have some federal loans, but they also have some private. So it's pretty much the only sure way to tell if you have federal loans is to log into your studentaid.gov website, and you go under My Aid. It'll show you all of your federal loans. It'll show you your federal loans. So that's the only kind of like for sure way to know if your particular your particular student loans are federal or private. If it's with a credit union, though, it is private for the person who asked that. If you have student loans through any bank or any credit union, those are all considered private loans. How would this affect tax time? Okay, so that question is a little complex, only because I'm not sure. There are 6 states at this point that are suing the Biden administration. And there are also about 8 states who will require you to pay taxes on this credit. So let's let that play out before I report on it, because it's like nothing, I don't know. And I don't want to give out misinformation. So let's let it play out a little bit to see what states are going to require their citizens to pay taxes on this credit. And that means that it'll be counted as income. So if you qualify for the 20K, you're gonna have to count 20K, $20,000 towards your income. So I don't know. I don't know yet. Yes, Missouri absolutely was on that list. You know, Missouri is Mohila's headquarters, and Mohila, you know what? Let me not get into it. But yeah, Missouri is absolutely on the list. Like, yeah. Insane to pay taxes on a credit defeats the purpose. Welcome to America. No, the application has not opened yet. Nope. Any day now, though. They just said October of 2023. They said early October. So within the first 1 to 2 weeks, it should be open. Does the credit go to the principal or the interest? So good question. And that was not specified in the official briefing. But what I want to say, it'll go to principal. I'm sure like they wouldn't, it'll go to principal. I'm almost sure it'll go to principal. So no, it will not go towards your Pell Grant balance. You don't have to pay your Pell Grant back. It's a grant as opposed to a loan. It'll go towards your loan balance. So the money that you have to pay back, it'll be applied to that. Yep, North Carolina is, yeah. I wonder how interest will factor into it. Make sure you count every educational deduction then. Yeah, yeah. I'm very curious of how it's going to play out, because they say there's no such thing as free money. Somebody paying for it. So we'll see how, I don't know. Yes. So a lot of people who have NailNet loans or had NailNet loans, they pretty much offloaded all of their, or sold most of their accounts, if not all, to either Mohila or AidVantage. Yeah, it depends on what type. That's the thing. So, because some companies will have federal, some companies will have federal and private loans. So, the only sure way is to just log into your account to see what is listed under federal loans. What if you have some private loans and some federal? Then only the federal will be covered. So whatever you have going on in terms of private loans, I mean, they will not change. What will happen to my student loan collections if this wipes out my whole balance? That's a really good question. So number one, the collection will have to be closed. So after the account is satisfied, the collection will have to close. It doesn't delete off your credit report, but it will close and it will show as paid. So, give whatever that is, So no, it will not be deleted. But yes, it will, even if it's in collection, it'll still be paid. Yeah. How long will it take to pay? So their goal is to apply all credits by December. But they said it can take up to 8 weeks. So yeah. So hey Shauna, you said people who got FFEL through NailNet will not be able to get the Biden aid. Not necessarily, because NailNet does service. Well, I think if it's still through NailNet, I would check on it, because I'm not sure. Because being that it's still with NailNet, I want to say they sold all of their federal loans. So I think any account that NailNet still has is considered commercial. But I don't know. But I do think that any account that NailNet still has is considered commercial. If you haven't, well, I'll just say this: if you have not consolidated those loans as of now, then they probably don't qualify for it. And this is just for FFEL loans, not regular federal loans, guys. Well, no, because the thing is, NailNet does have some private loans. Like, they are not exclusively federal. Right. Most of NailNet loans are. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I thought. Because I want to say all of their federal accounts has been reassigned to Advantage, and then I think they had a few to Mohila. Yeah. What about the Parent Plus loan? Oh, great question. Yes. So if your parent or you took out the Parent Plus loan, the Parent Plus loan qualifies for up to the $10,000 credit. So even if you do, let's say, otherwise qualify for $20,000, the Pell Grant itself, I mean not the Pell Grant, the Parent Plus loan itself only qualifies for up to $10,000. The thing is, though, the parent has to apply. So if your parent did the Parent Plus loan for you, they have to apply under their name to receive that credit. You can't apply for them. So if your parents don't have a studentaid.gov account, create them one ASAP. Create them one, because they'll have to fill out the application on their own. You got a car today? What you get? Congrats. How are the interest rates right now? Or shit, not the interest rate, really the prices. How are the prices with cars right now? Are they still high, or has it like leveled out? Let me see. You said good morning. It is 8 o'clock. Should I consolidate my loans into one? So now at this point, if you haven't consolidated your FFEL loans, it's too late. The cutoff date was September 29th of 2022, so last week. Unfortunately, they made that cutoff the same day, and then they didn't announce the cutoff until the next day. So by the time that they actually announced, like, hey, it's too late to fill out the application for, to consolidate your FFEL loans, it was already too late. So yeah. 2,000 over MSRP. Oh, dang. Yeah, let me stay away from the car lots right now. Know anything about tax relief programs? Any recommendations? No, that's not my area of expertise. I hire my accountant to deal with that. I stay away from taxes. It's a headache. Yeah, Great Lakes, most of Great Lakes loans are federal. So if you have Great Lakes, it is a very good chance that your loans are federal. Advantage is all federal. So if your loans say Advantage or U.S. Department of Education, federal. How do we find out what type of loan we have? 3 ways. So one way, you can log into studentaid.gov to find out. The next way is you can look at any of your student loan bills if you still have access to them. Or you can look at your credit report to see who the lender is, who the creditor is, and that'll give you an idea of who is servicing your loans. My score just went up 51 points, period. Yes, with a new CC and a pledge loan. Yes, congrats. Does the Parent Plus loan need to be consolidated? No. So the Parent Plus loan does not need to be consolidated. You don't need to do anything with that loan or any other federal loan. The FFEL loans is very specific. So if you just have regular federal loans, you don't need to do anything except apply. But how long does it take to get your Sage, LexisNexis, and ARS? It took, like, nowadays it's taking like 3 weeks, but it could take between like 7 to 10 days, business days. But yeah, it didn't take me long at all. Probably like 2 weeks. Let me see. With the loan forgiveness, will you still be eligible for the ECSI loans if the loans were in default? Yes. So the status of your loans does not matter. It doesn't matter. It can be in collection. It could be defaulted. It could be deferred. It could be like, it doesn't matter. The status of the account doesn't matter, nor does the school. So the specific school that you went to has no bearing on your eligibility for this credit. Literally, the only qualifications are you meet the income requirements and have federal loans. That's it. My husband's loans was just sold to Nelnet from Fed loans over the summer. Really? So his is not federal, right? Do you know? I don't believe they're federal. Oh man. Yeah, Advantage is federal. What if you have a Parent Plus loan for your child and your own student loans? Will you qualify for the 20? Yes, because I want to say it's 2 separate applications, so you have to fill out each of them. You'll qualify for the 20 for your student loans, but not for the Parent Plus loan. Like if you have like your own student loans, yes, the 20. But for the Parent Plus loans, it's only 10. Do you have to have an account? So that's one of the things that is like there's conflicting reports about it, but the official briefing makes mention of using your FSA ID, which you can only get by creating an account. So I'm just going to jump off a ledge and say everyone needs to create an account. Like, because there are some reports that say you won't need to sign in, Everyone needs to create an account. Everyone needs to create an account at studentaid.gov. Navient could be private because they had federal and private loans. So just sign into your account to make sure. Yeah, you can ask about bankruptcy. Are you sure you're still in? Oh, you talking to? Did LexisNexis recently get sued? LexisNexis, as well as all the major credit bureaus, they get sued weekly, probably daily at this point. I mean, it's not anything new for them to be getting sued. I haven't seen any like class action or like big like court cases, but I mean, I'm sure they're being sued. They are sued at all times. It's just the way it is. I don't think there has been a single time that I've searched the credit bureaus in like Pacer just to see what active lawsuits they currently have. I don't think there's a single time I've ever searched any of those and they just were not being legally pursued. Like one thing about it, they definitely gonna be in court. What is my dang? I had another. Are we still giving the credit bureau 60 days or can we do 30? Girl, they still are not regulating that. So unfortunately, we still just have to wait. There ain't nothing we can do. That's the sad part. When the 12-month promotion is up on your credit card, should you still keep that credit card? Yeah, yeah. What I mean, yeah. What credit card is it? Yeah, you don't ever like open a credit card just to keep it for a year. And then some companies will actually blackball you for that. So especially if it's like bigger companies like American Express, I know that's one of their that's one thing that can cause them to blacklist you for like 10 years. Like if you wait until the first year passes and then like let's say you don't have an annual fee or you made sure you used all of the benefits and the credits that they gave you and then you either downgraded the card right after year one or canceled the card right after year one. Oof, they don't like that. They don't like that at all because at that point they didn't get it. It was they received no ROI on your account. Like you because within the first year they're going to throw you the most rewards. You probably are not going to have an annual fee there, or if you do have an annual fee, super easy to get the annual fee waived, especially that first year. And then if you cancel right after that, they like, oh no. But you also don't want to have just constant like closures of credit cards on your credit report either, like because that's something that can keep you from getting approved for other credit cards. Like if they see too many credit cards closed, banks don't like that. They're like, oh no, we're not giving them credit or we're going to give them very little. Are they doing anything for private student loans? No, unfortunately private student loans are not obviously regulated by the government, so that's that specific institution that will have to decide. But yeah, no, because they're just like any other for-profit business. I highly doubt that they're gonna like give any relief. Capital One closed my account for return payment. What should I do? Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. Like some company, I'm surprised they closed it for one. Did you do it more than one time? Because I know most times like they'll allow you to do it maybe once, but after that, no, they unfortunately they reserve the right to close your account at any moment. I filed for bankruptcy, haven't been discharged as of yet. I've literally burned every card known to man. How do I rebuild? Okay, so you filed for bankruptcy, so you have to wait until you're discharged. After you're discharged, you're going to absolutely probably have to start with a subprime credit card. I would probably recommend that you go to Open Sky because they don't care, like they don't do credit checks. It's a secure card, so if you can get two, and be very responsible with those cards. You know what? You might want to start off with one just so you can kind of get into the swing of things. Make sure you are spending on the credit card and like knowing when to pay it back and stuff like that. Start with one, start slow, and just slowly rebuild. That's the only thing you can do, is to just rebuild, show that your past is your past, but like currently you have more of a hold on your financial life. House on after bankruptcy discharge, you can do it immediately. It's just against most terms and conditions or contracts with companies to, like, if you're actively in a bankruptcy, you're not supposed to apply for credit. And within the terms and conditions, you pretty much are agreeing, like saying that you are not actively in bankruptcy, nor do you have any like plans to file bankruptcy, pretty much. So if you lie and stuff, they technically can sue you, but they will probably just close your account. So just wait until you're discharged. The second that you're discharged, apply. It seems my credit is at a standstill. How do I boost it? Nothing will change on your credit unless something changes. So if you are, constantly reporting the same utilization or within the same level of utilization, your score will not change. If you're not like opening accounts or closing accounts or whatever, getting hard inquiries or anything else that'll cause your credit score to either increase or decrease, it will just stay the same. So whatever utilization that you're currently reporting, lower it. That's the fastest way to get any boost in your credit score. Whatever current utilization you are reporting, lower it to at least the next threshold. But I mean, that's a little complicated. So just lower it. Yeah, Open Sky, OLO, First Progress, First Permit. Like, there are so many subprime banks. How are they confirming income? Based on your taxes, based on IRS. No, so it has no cash value. So even if you qualify for more credit than what you have, they are only going to pay up to your outstanding balance. So no, they don't send you any checks or anything. But if you have made payments towards your student loans since March of 2020, you can get that refunded. You can get it refunded. They'll send you a check. It'll be in the mail within 8 weeks. Will your score go up when student loans become current after being in collection? So there is no such thing of an account becoming current after it has reached collection status. After an account is sent to collections or after, hold on, y'all, it's a spammer on here. How I block people? Shit, how I block them? Somebody, oh shit. I gotta log into Facebook to block them, but I can't get into Facebook. No. Yeah, ignore that person. But they don't click that link, because I'm sure that's like a spam link. So please don't click whatever link that they are. Oh shit. Damn, I wish I can block them, because I just don't want nobody to freaking click. Yeah, report them. Report those two people. And please do not click that link, because people have been getting their Facebooks hacked every day. Wait, what was I talking? I forgot what I was talking about, because that just blew me. So I'm late, but is the student loan relief from Pslf. So that is the thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Those are two totally different programs, two separate qualifications, two separate literally like banks. They are totally different. So even if you did not qualify for the Pslf loan, which is just a public service loan forgiveness, which you have to work in public service at an approved institution or company, teach like public teachers, healthcare workers, veterans, military, uniformed services. What else? What am I missing? Some social work. So you have to be a public employee, and then you have to meet the qualifications of that forgiveness, which is 120 on-time payments and 10 plus years of service. It doesn't have to be consistent, but it just has to be 10 years. The thing with the temporary Pslf is you can apply to receive credit for payments that you wouldn't have received credit for in the past. So like when we were on the payment pause, if you didn't make any payments, you can receive credit for that. Some people are receiving like 60 plus months of payments. So that is totally different. The relief credit is for any citizen that meets the income requirements. So they're just two completely separate things. A lot of people are getting them mixed up. They think, oh, I already applied for the PSLF, so I'm not going to waste my time applying for this. No, they are so different. Like, I mean, they are totally different programs. It is confusing though, because they both obviously are about student loans. They both are about forgiving and all of that, but like they're just separate. You don't have to work. You don't have to be a public employee to qualify for the $10,000 credit or the $20,000 credit. Yeah, what you filing a complaint for? Towards the credit bureaus, if it's for like the time, don't waste your time because they're not regulating that. In their website very clearly states like they're not regulating that. So if it's because they didn't respond, unfortunately, the only thing you can do is follow up. Make sure it's at least 60 days since you sent your initial round. And yeah. Does Pslf allow you to input more than one employer from the past? Yeah, like there's a link. I don't have it right now. I don't have access to it, but there's a link that you can check your employer. You can check any of your employers. And it, like I said, the place doesn't have to be consistent. It doesn't have to be 10 years at one company. It doesn't even have to be 10 years straight. You could have done 5 years back in the 90s and then maybe the early 2000s. It doesn't have to be consistent. So, yeah. Will a bankruptcy stop Pslf? No, PSLF is just loan forgiveness. It's no cash value. It's literally them just wiping your loans. So it has nothing to do with the status of the account, whether it's collections or bankruptcy. It doesn't matter. It'll be reduced on a federal level. Do you have to apply for the 20K student loan relief, or will it just come off? I'm just going to just say, yes, you should apply. The only people who are 100% certain that they don't need to apply is if you are currently on an income-based repayment plan or an income-driven repayment plan. If you are currently like actively on a repayment plan, then you don't need to apply because they already have your income information. But if you're not actively on a plan, you absolutely need to apply. So is it going to help your credit score to get them paid off? So this is the thing. So this is the not so, I guess, good news about it. Honestly, either way you flip it, it's good news. But let's talk about how wiping your student loans will affect your credit. I want to first start off by saying nothing about the student loan relief credit or relief aid has anything to do with your credit report. So when they decided on anything, your credit report was not considered. I wanted to start off saying that because it's going to confuse a lot of people on why their credit report is going to be negatively impacted by the reducing of debt. Okay. So like I said, they don't do it for your credit report. They do it because they want to lower your debt. Now, when it comes to debt and when it comes to credit, unfortunately, there is not one without the other. Credit is debt. Literally, credit is just your ability to manage debt. Some of the things in terms of credit reporting and debt that confuses a lot of people is most people think that them reducing their debt causes their credit score to go up. Unfortunately, that is almost never the case. For example, if you buy a car and then pay off your car early, more than likely your score will decrease. And that's because you are losing credit age. You are losing active accounts. So any account on your credit, of all of the accounts on your credit report, open accounts has the most impact on your score. So when you close that account, it immediately has less impact, number one. And then number two, you are losing credit age because anytime you open an account, anytime you close an account, anytime anything is removed or deleted from your credit report, or anytime anything is added to your credit report, your credit age goes down. Credit age is based on average. So every account matters. So with that being said, let's say your student loans are completely satisfied. If your student loans are satisfied, anytime a loan is satisfied in terms of credit, the account has to close by law. If there is not a balance, the account needs to close within 30 days. So when your student loans are paid off and it causes your student loans to close, how that will impact you will definitely depend on your credit report, because basically the older your student loan is, the more impact it will have on your credit score. If your student loans are your first account, like me, and a lot of other people, if your student loans are your oldest trade line, you losing that account is absolutely going to definitely affect your credit score. Now, yeah, so for most people, their credit score will actually, decrease as a result of this. But I don't think it's going to be by like much at all. But it's just the reality of it. Your credit score will likely decrease. No, absolutely not. So when it comes to any loan, I'm just going to say installment, but installment means loans. When it comes to any loan, your credit score is affected gradually, which is why, like, if you ever just got a loan and you like, I've been paying on this loan for like 8 months. Like, what's going on? My score is not moving. What's going on? Loans are not like credit cards. They are not, they don't impact your score. Number one, on a month-to-month basis, on a varying basis at all. When the second that a loan hits your credit report, you may lose a few points, like I said, because of credit age. So you'll probably lose a few points and then you'll, earn those points back. Your score will gradually increase as that loan ages. There is something called payment history on our credit within our credit scores. It's the most important factor. It's the largest section of our credit score, your payment history. And the more on-time payments you have reported to your credit report, the higher your credit score will be, and also the more solid your credit score will be as well. So you need those payments. If you end an installment early, you are not going to be credited for the payments that you balked into one balloon payment. You are only going to be credited for one payment. It'll weigh the same as any other normal monthly payment that you paid. Doesn't matter the amount. So with loans, it's actually best in terms of your credit report to keep them open throughout the entire duration of the loan term. Because when you close it early, you're going to lose. You're going to decrease. Yeah, that never made sense to me. I never understood how you can pay off a loan and your credit score go down. Yes, yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, it still doesn't, even if that's the rules, it honestly still doesn't make sense. Like, it really doesn't make sense. But what can we do about it? It's just how it is. I have 8 medical bills. Why haven't they left? They have until August of 23 to erase all of the qualified medical bills. So you got a while. They just rolled that out though. So it typically takes damn near a full year for them to get to everyone. But they have already started, because every day I see people saying that theirs were deleted. School staff. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say teachers, by the way. My bad. You're right. It is school staff. Right. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we having 2 different conversations. So someone said, but sometimes it's best to pay it off based on a new interest rate. So just because something doesn't benefit your credit score, it doesn't mean that it's not the best decision for you financially. If you are going to refinance a vehicle, by all means do so. If you are going to sell your vehicle, by all means do so. The same thing goes with a home. When your mortgage hits your credit report, that's a long-term installment, just like a car. If you are going to sell your car, if you're going to sell your home or whatever, do it. You're not going to allow, you're not going to let your credit report and you losing a few points determine or dictate if you're going to sell your home or sell your car. So at some loans, in some situations, it obviously make more sense, regardless of taking that temporary hit on your credit report. It makes more sense to close the account. It's not the end of the world. But what I was like really talking about was like short-term installments. This is why I always like push you guys to have short-term installments, because long-term installments, most of them don't even see the full term length anymore. I was reading a report maybe like 2 weeks ago where it said, they said either 10 or 15 years ago, whatever. 10 years ago, the average home loan was 12 years. Now, as according to the recent study, the average home loan is only 5 years. So yeah, people are just not keeping their, first of all, think about how we buy cars now. We buy cars pretty much every few years. I know somebody who buy a car every year, who financed a new car every year. But back in the day, they got a car, they gonna have that car for 10, 20 years. That's just not how we live nowadays. So when long-term installments close, it is not the end of the world. Lenders don't really look down on that. Like, they get it. But when it comes to short-term installments, you shouldn't end those early. You shouldn't. Those are where you're going to get your payments. because you're not really going to be getting them payments on your long-term installments because you're going to end them anyway. So keep a short-term installment reported. That's why I be telling y'all, make sure you have a short-term installment, because like I said, a loan will gradually increase your credit score or gradually impact your credit report. But towards the end of that loan, like after the loan is at least 90% paid off, that is also another bonus that you're going to get on your credit score. So ride them out for as long as you can, and take advantage of that by having short-term installments. That a self account is like $20 or $20 or $25 a month, I think, at the low end, and then they have other options. But perfect account to utilize, to have reporting. Do it every 2 to 3 years, and like you'll be good. When is a good time to refinance? Shoot, I tell people the sooner the better. Depending on what it is, a house, obviously you can refinance whatever. But when it comes to a car, if it's, let's say you got a 5-year term length or whatever, you gonna want to refinance that within the first 2 years. But like, basically, the older it gets, the less valuable that car is going to be. So the sooner the freaking better. I have refinanced within 30 days of purchasing a car before. Because you have to, you're shutting down this loan, and then you're going to start a new loan. So you don't want, like, let's say you only wanted to have, you've had this car for 3 years, and you got 2 more years to pay it off, and then you choose to refinance that. You're going to refinance for another 5 years knowing you don't want the car, you know what I mean, for that loan. So the sooner the better. Kickoff is also an option as well. Yep, they're the same itself. Not the same company, but yeah. The day of the week, we don't know. They just said October. They just said early October, so it could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. I'm not sure, but I'm checking every day. Your credit dropped today. What happened? What caused it to drop? I monitor my credit on not annual credit. I monitor my credit on my FICO app or Experian app. Should you remove closed credit cards from your credit report? Depending on what status they're in. Like, what do they have? A lot of late payments? Like, is it charged off? Experian app is tripping. It ain't refreshing. I just got my refresh the other day. Mine is not. You updated it? I haven't had problems with mine. 15-point drop. No clue as to why. What are you using for monitoring? No, Credit Karma is not your real credit score. That's a Vantage score. I'm going to apply either way. I don't trust the automatic deduction. That's what I said. I said y'all cannot apply if y'all don't. Excuse me. Y'all cannot apply if y'all don't want to. No one can force you. But when it comes down to, you don't qualify and it's too late for you to. You didn't apply and now it's too late for you to apply. Don't be crying. I thought we didn't have to. Y'all better do them applications. It's going to take under 5 minutes to just fill in your information. You might as well make sure that they have your application rather than just like sitting and hoping that they already have your income on file. No, it's going to be based on the most recent filed return. So as long as it's between 2019, 2020, and 21, then those taxes will qualify, but they'll use the most recent of the 3. You know who will refinance me with a bankruptcy showing my scores are better now than they were in September when I got the loan? Try Capital One auto financing or Capital One refinance. Yeah, it's Capital One auto financing. And then if you have Navy Federal, I would try them. Or whatever credit union, if you have a credit union. Steps today. It is not that good today. 7,487. That happened to you today? What? Your score dropped? Or I think you're talking to somebody else in the comments. PNFed said no. Navy said no. You burned the bridge with Capital One. See, that's the thing. You burning bridges with the companies who probably would have gave you a chance. That's a hard one. Is the Experian app scores the correct FICO score? Yes, it's FICO 8. Experian will report your FICO 8 score, and then they do have other options to see some other scores, but the most important one is going to be your FICO 8, which is a score that most lenders pull, with the exception of like home loans. So if you are like getting a mortgage, then the only way to see your true mortgage scores are to go to my FICO app. It's like freaking $30 or $40 a month. I don't remember, but it's expensive. But the only time I would like pay for that membership is if I'm like actively like seeking a home loan. But if I'm just, regular cars, credit cards, and stuff like that, I'm going to have Experian. I'm gonna pay for Experian because Experian is only like $20 a month. And if you just want your Experian score, you can actually get it for free. So like y'all should all have the Experian app, because at whatever it's worth, you're going to get your Experian FICO score for free. So, but then you can choose if you want to include all 3 credit bureaus, and then I think the lowest, I think it's like $19.99, or maybe it's like $24. I don't know, but it's definitely cheaper than my FICO. Or my FICO mortgage score is accurate? Literally spot on. Like, yes, the scores. I have never once in my life pulled a mortgage score on my FICO, like updated it, my mortgage score on my FICO, and then had my lender pull not even a point off. Like literally, not even a point off. It's always accurate. I mean, it's always accurate. And the only time it may not be the same is if like maybe your lender is pulling an old report, or you haven't like refreshed your my FICO, because you do have to refresh it to get your new mortgage scores. Because like if you have the subscription, your 3 main scores, the FICO 8 scores, they'll automatically update as things hit your credit report, or as things affect your credit. You'll see like you got 3 points today, or you got 5 points, no matter what day of the month it's on. But if you want to see your new mortgage scores, you do have to actually like go in and like click get a new report, and then it'll refresh all of your other scores. But those mortgage scores are always on point. No, I'm not I need to be sponsored by the ads, but no, I pay $40 a month just like y'all whenever but like I said, I only get it when I'm like actively seeking a home loan. How should you handle middling funding? You should just pay them their money, because they're gonna sue you. Set up a payment arrangement with them, because they're gonna sue you if you ignore them, try to run from them and hide. They are going to sue you. That's all that they do. So just try to set up an agreement with them. Yeah. Dang, y'all, they back. Report them, that person who be dropping the link, and do not click on that link, y'all, because it's spam. They gonna hack your account. Can y'all report them? Because I can't, because I'm streaming through a third-party server. Increase stay on your credit report for 2 years. But they only affect your credit, your score for 1 year. And not all inquiries are affecting your score. Even if you see it like in your hard inquiries, most of them are not even affecting your score. Like when you know how you go car shopping and they run your credit like 20 times, all of those inquiries, yes, they're going to be on your credit report, because they have to legally show who had access to your credit report. They're not counted against your score inquiry by inquiry. So you can have 15 inquiries, but you will only be affected by 1, because it's called deduplication. So they'll deduplicate them if it's within 14 days of, like if you're actively shopping for a car, going around to different car lots, credit unions, banks, whatever. If you do all of that within 14 days, then it won't affect your credit more than 1. Same goes with home loans. So if you are getting like pre-approved for a mortgage or getting a home loan, always do all of your comparing and rate shopping within 14 days. Always try to do it within 14 days, because all of those inquiries that are, all of those hard inquiries, they are not affecting you if you do them within 14 days. That's the thing. And let me tell you, when it comes to mortgage scores, because we all know that mortgage scores are a different version of the scores that we usually see, or lenders pull when we are applying for like credit cards, cars, and stuff like that. Mortgage scores are FICO's 2, 4, and 5. So those are outdated versions of the ones that we see now, which is FICO 8, 9, and 10, the newest being 10. So with your mortgage scores, When you have hard inquiries and it's a credit card inquiry, your mortgage score will decrease even if you filled out for 14 credit cards in one day. If they caused a hard inquiry on your credit report, your mortgage scores will decrease. Every credit card application. So theoretically speaking, you should not, y'all probably know this, but I want to reinforce it. You should not be applying for any credit cards while you are shopping for a home. Also, within 6 months of you getting pre-approved for a home. Within 6 months, because your mortgage scores, any credit card applications within 6 months, you're literally penalized for it. Like quite literally, your mortgage scores will look to see any credit card applications within 6 months, and your score will be affected. So the best time to apply for a home loan is if you are at least 6 months past any new accounts, number one, and 6 months past any credit card increase. That's like the best time that you can apply for a mortgage. Obviously, if it's been longer than 6 months, even better. But try to be, if you can plan it, because I know sometimes it's just happening, you applying and you really couldn't prep for it. But if you do have at least 6 months before you want to get a home loan or you want to purchase a home, make sure you stop applying for any credit cards. Loans, they affect your mortgage score, but like very minimally. Especially like any home hard increase, like any mortgage hard increase has no impact on your mortgage score. So you can shop, you can always rate shop without having to worry about it affecting your credit report, affecting your credit score. Don't let your lender scare you, because of course they don't want you to rate shop and view other lenders. Don't let them scare you and say, stop applying for mortgages or whatever. No, absolutely rate shop, especially when it comes to homes. Like, interest rates are high anyway, but I'm just saying you still should definitely shop around and compare. Definitely shop around and compare. Do not worry about it affecting your credit. If you do it within 14 days, your mortgage scores will not even be affected. Like, it won't even be affected a half a point, let alone a full point. So within 14 days, don't let nobody tell you different. You can absolutely shop. Now, don't go and shop for a car, because that's not it's specified. Like our hard increase are specified. They're coded a certain way. So credit card applications are coded retail. Home applications are coded mortgage loans, and then auto car applications are auto loans. Credit, they can see what type of credit you apply for. So don't apply for no credit cards, because your credit card increase are weighed more heavily than your installment increase. Always remember that when y'all are buying a house. I know that was off subject, but just to note. Yeah, absolutely. Late payments definitely affect your mortgage score. Everything on your credit report affects your score pretty much. Some things indirectly and some things directly. But yes, absolutely. The payment history is the largest factor in any credit score, no matter if it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Payment history is still the biggest factor. In actually speaking, mortgage scores actually your payment history weighs more heavily than like FICO 8. We're used to it just being 35% of our score. Mortgage scores, it's almost 47%. It's like 46%. So it's even more important. Yes, payment history is absolutely important. Is it too late? By the time I'm shopping for a home, is it too late to be asking for goodwill adjustments? So actually, because let me say the responsible answer. You should not make any changes to your credit report while you are home shopping. But if you were my friend and you called me on the phone and asked me that question, I would absolutely say a goodwill adjustment is not, first of all, it's not considered a dispute. Make sure you don't go through the credit bureaus. You shouldn't do that with any open accounts anyway. But you can go directly to the company and ask them for a goodwill adjustment because you are seeking home ownership. You can, hey, I've been a customer of you guys for 8 years, and a few years ago or last year, I had a mishap. I lost my job, whatever. It caused me to be late. Would you consider forgiving this payment or giving me a goodwill adjustment? If they give you a goodwill adjustment, first of all, the worst thing they can say is no. It's not a credit bureau dispute at all. So your credit report will not be affected because you're speaking directly to the company. If they say no, they say no. oh well. But if they say yes, that absolutely will change, first of all of your credit scores, but specifically your mortgage score. Should we delete closed accounts? No. Your closed accounts are your payment are your credit history. You delete those accounts, all of those on-time payments that is reported on those accounts are also going to be deleted. So that's why, even if like I tell people all the time, the only thing that would trump okay, let me go back to the beginning so no one is confused. So if you have, let's say you had a car loan and you had a car loan for 68 months, but then maybe 6 of those months you had late payments. The loan has now been satisfied, like the account has been closed at this point, and you're wondering, like, should I get this account deleted? Because when I log into my credit monitoring app, it shows me that this is considered a bad account, right? First of all, any account with a late payment on your credit report is always going to be like keyed or flagged as a derogatory account when you're like looking at credit monitoring. But when you look at it as a whole, that account is 68 months long. So that means that there are 68 payments associated with this account that's on your credit report. You were late 5. So of the 68, you were on time 63 payments. So if you get this entire account deleted, you are going to be missing out on 63 payments. But just because you have 5 late payments, you get what I mean? It's not worth it at that point. Not if it's that's a lot of payments. That's a lot of payments. It's going to take you 5 years to make up those payments. So in my opinion, that's not worth it to be deleted. It's closed. It's in the past. Your active accounts, as long as they're on time, they're going to be more like prioritized in terms of like how lenders view your reporting to see like your risk level. They're going to look at your open accounts first. That's the first thing they do. They're going to look at all of your open accounts to see what you are currently doing, because those closed accounts, they could have been 4 years ago. They could have been 5, 6, 7 years ago. Some accounts could be 10, depending. So they are always going to prioritize your open accounts. Make sure that, especially if you have closed accounts with late payments, the best thing you can ever do is make sure all of your open accounts are 100% on time. Like no late payments on your open accounts. That's always gonna, I'm not gonna say trump any late payments, but it's absolutely going to like keep you in a game. Mortgage lender here. I had a client execute a goodwill adjustment while in escrow and it worked out. Yeah, like that's why I'm saying if my friend were to call me, and they have before, and we've gotten goodwill adjustments literally 2 days before, or no, it was like a week before closing. But I want to be politically correct, so I would just say don't touch it. But y'all get what we saying. If you ain't picking up what I'm putting down, walk by it. How do you get accounts off that were included in bankruptcy after removal? After you get your bankruptcy removed, if you catch the accounts while they're still reporting as included in bankruptcy and your bankruptcy is not actively on your credit report, hurry up and send your dispute in. But you need to challenge the fact that there is improper reporting and request that all of the accounts are removed. If there is no bankruptcy on your credit report, they cannot legally say any account was included in bankruptcy. So the goal is not even trick, but like the thing is, if you don't catch it, because within 30 days, most of the accounts are going to be updated. They're going to go from saying included in bankruptcy to just closed. So if you catch it while it still says included in bankruptcy, it's gonna make it a lot easier. Because if you don't catch it, then you just have to challenge them like charge-offs, because that's pretty much what they'll be considered. Not technically, but in terms of like how your credit report views it, if it sees any closed account that has been closed for more than 180 days that still has a balance due, it automatically assumes it's a charge-off. Because technically speaking, closed accounts typically charge off within 180 days. What's on my eye? Piece of hair. What's a good mortgage score? I like to tell people that they want to have at least like 630, 640 for like the best case scenario. Technically speaking, you only need a 580 for FHA. Highly doubt you'll find a lender that'll accept it, and also your interest rate is going to be sky high. So I personally say wait until you have at least a 630, 640. Very attainable credit scores. 630 and 640 is super attainable, even if you got collections. even if you have charge-offs. The only time it's going to be just a little bit harder is if you have a recent bankruptcy within the last year. That can absolutely be weighing super heavy on your scores. But for a lot of people, what's crazy is for a lot of people, when their bankruptcy hit their credit report, a lot of people's score go up. Now obviously that's one of the situations where even if your score goes up, it doesn't necessarily mean that you still are getting all the benefits for that score. But the point is, it doesn't always cause your credit score to go down. It absolutely has a damper on your entire profile for sure. Yeah, I'm not debating that for sure. When you first get a credit card, yeah, this chair, I need to get a new office chair. Oh my God, this chair is super uncomfortable. I cannot find a really comfortable one though. My bad. That was just off topic. Thanks to you, I bought a brand new house this year. Yay! Congrats. Yes, I love it. I love it. Congrats. What state you live in? How do you feel about paying minimum balance only? The only time I would ever suggest that, or not even suggest it, the only time I would say that's cool is in two situations. Number one, if that's all you can do. If that's all you can do and you genuinely cannot pay anymore, I would much rather you pay at least the minimum payment than to miss the payment. So for starters, sometimes you can only do the minimum payment. But for a majority of people who pay the minimum payment, they know, like I know, that you could pay more. So if you don't absolutely have to down to your last dollar, then never pay just a minimum payment ever. Especially not if you want to get credit limit increases and grow substantial credit lines. Never. Not only are you paying interest on all of that the remaining balance that you leave over past your minimum payment, you're paying interest on that every due date, but also your credit score is being affected. Your utilization is high. I have for y'all asking about the charge off. I have a detailed video on YouTube called "How to Dispute Charge Offs." It's on my YouTube page, which is Shonda Martin, and I literally go through step by step. Send this letter to this entity, do this, wait this many days, and then you're looking for this. I literally break it down step by step how to properly dispute a bankruptcy, how to properly dispute student loans, how to properly dispute charge offs, collections, everything, and it's all on my YouTube. The info you provided on using statement dates instead of due dates has raised my credit score. Yes, that's the key. That's the key to credit cards. Knowing your statement date, knowing you need to pay by your statement date, and that's all that matters. That is literally the trick to credit scores. And now when you learn how to control the credit card reporting, but also be able to utilize your credit card, spend on it, get all of the rewards, it's a win-win situation. It's literally a life hack. It's a life hack. Knowing which credit cards to use for what. If you are trying to finance something long term, knowing what credit cards to have, and use as your go-to. If I know I want to finance something that is not loan appropriate, I wouldn't take out a loan for it. If I want to just pay on something for a few months, maybe get 3 months, 4 months, I'm likely gonna go to Navy Federal, use my Navy Federal card. If I have a large purchase that I would have already been paying for from my bank account, for example, business purchases. Most of my business purchases are large. I pay with my business credit card and then just go ahead and pay the card right off because I was going to already have to, an invoice or something. I was already going to have to pay it out of my bank account anyway. So now I just switched the transaction to my credit card, and then not only am I getting hella reward points, which is my favorite thing in the world, but also I'm showing my bank that I can properly utilize my credit card and pay it back. So then now they trust me, and now they extending 5 and 6 figure trade lines or credit limits to me. So it's a win. It's just a win all the way across the board. Oh my God, y'all. My mouth is dry. When is FICO 10 coming out? FICO 10 is out. FICO 10T is out. The thing is, no lenders use it at this point, but it's new. Anytime the new version of the credit score come out, it's going to take a few years for everyone to migrate over to it and whatever. So it's going to take time, but I will say I'm willing to bet. I'm going to just say this on record because this video going to be on YouTube. I am willing to bet you guys that by next year, So pretty much by 2004, most lenders are going to switch over to 10T, to FICO 10T. I guarantee you. Not even, I'll be more specific. Not most lenders, most credit card lenders, most banks. Most banks are going to be pulling your FICO 10T score. So just be very wary of that. Like, understand the differences with FICO 10T. Understand how you're going to have to start doing things a little different from how you're doing them with FICO 8. Because things that you're not penalized for on FICO 8, you are going to be penalized for with FICO 10. So just keep that in mind. I guarantee you, these companies, these lenders are going to start pulling 10T. My FICO 9 looks better than 8. Most people, like honestly, 99% of people's FICO 9 score is probably their best score. And that's because the reason why FICO 9 is considered like the failed FICO score is because it was super like lenient on us, on consumers. It first of all, like it forgave paid collection. So if you paid your collection, your FICO 9 score is going to go up. Charge offs, if you pay your charge off, your FICO 9 score is going to go up. Medical bills, they don't have an impact on FICO 9 score. Any collections under $100 don't have an impact on FICO 9. So that is the perfect example of how lenders definitely run the market. So when FICO 9 came out with all of those leniencies, I guess for us, no lender wanted that score. Like no lender pulled that score. It was not profitable at all for FICO. So now we have FICO 10T. So it's literally polar opposites. FICO 9 was consumer friendly. Like that was probably the most consumer friendly version of our credit scores to date. Didn't last, didn't catch on. Lenders did not like it, so they didn't pull it. With FICO 10T, they doubled down on our ass. They said not only is your utilization going to mean more than it has ever meant before, but we are also going to monitor it and record it for 24 months. 24 fucking months. Like do y'all understand the gravity of that? 24 months of your utilization will at all times be reported on your credit report for lenders to view it. In case you're not picking up what I'm putting down, no other credit score gives the lender the ability to see the past utilizations that you reported. They can only see your current utilization. So let's say 2 months ago you financed something or whatever, you only paid your minimum or whatever. You had high utilization. And as long as you lower that utilization, and then by the time that the lender checks your credit report, they will never even know that you had high utilization as of now with, up until FICO 9. But with FICO 10T, they're going to see a 24-month snapshot of each trade line on your credit report. So last year when you went holiday shopping and you paid it off, you didn't pay it off by whatever, that's going to affect your credit card applications. So that's why I say most banks are going to switch over to FICO 10T because it's super lender friendly. They literally went from consumer friendly to lender friendly. But this is America. So everything is for profit. We are fucking for sale. So I get it. But yeah, they ain't messing with us. FICO 10T. But my FICO 10T, let me stop because that sounds like I'm bragging. But I was surprised that my FICO 10T was actually my highest score. I was like, what? But I'm not surprised because y'all know how I am about my utilization. It didn't surprise me because I kind of a little piece of me got happy when I seen it because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be able to be credited for being consistently under or in a great utilization range. But then I thought about like, damn, but for most people, this is absolutely going to affect them. So I'm gonna celebrate in silence. I'm not gonna celebrate in front of y'all. But no, yeah, lenders are definitely gonna switch over. I'm thinking within the next year, at the most probably 2 years. But if the longer they wait, the better, because then that gives you more time to build a history of low utilization. No, child, my mouth is so dry. I wanted to answer your question, but I can't answer it without going into why. Give me a second. Y'all don't gotta be approved to post. First of all, by the way, if y'all wasn't here in the beginning, I am locked out of Facebook again. I got a new phone and Facebook is not like literally allowing me to access my own account. I just sent them I had to send them so much identifying information, but I just sent them my information and I'm waiting for them to like respond back. They told me something it can take up to 30 days, which is ridiculous. But it's been a few days. But yeah, I can't get in the group, y'all. That's why I haven't been posting. But when I go live, I can stream to the group because it's already connected. So FYI, I cannot get in the group. Hopefully they fix it this week because most people said it took like 2 weeks when I was doing the research. They said it took like 2 weeks. So hopefully they fix it this week. Oh shit, I did forget the question. Can you tell the admin to let you posting on her now? I don't even, and it says Facebook user. I'm not even sure of your name. Yeah, my FICO. No, I don't have no referral code. I wish. Yeah, I got the 14, but if you don't have a 14, don't waste your money. It's, excuse me, my bad, y'all. I was trying not to be rude. But if you contemplating on getting a 14, unless you got maybe probably like the iPhone 10 or X or whatever, that's pretty much the only, well, I say maybe like 11. If you got the iPhone 12 or 13, it is not worth the upgrade. I had the 13, which I already knew it wasn't like that much of a difference. But I'm a tech person and I'm just like, I love like good cameras on phones. Not that much of like I still have my 13 and I like, compare pictures, like took pictures. I can't tell the difference. I literally can't tell the difference. So if you're thinking about upgrading, don't feel rushed to it. Oh, look. Well, I only paid like four something for it because I do the trade in through Apple and then I purchase my phones through Apple and then I just do the trade in. So it was only like a $400 difference. So I was just like, I'm gonna get it. But yeah, FICO 10T is already out. Lenders has not migrated to it yet, but that'll change probably within the next year. Does the bootcamp cover everything? Yes. It literally teaches you how to challenge collections, charge-offs, public records like bankruptcies, child support, third-party reporting agencies. It teaches you how to read your credit report. It teaches you what goes into your credit score. It teaches you how to build credit properly. I hate when my freaking watch does that. Yeah, so Credit Bootcamp teaches you all of that from A through Z. And you can get it on the website. Oh, why did I just try to touch my computer and drag it up like it's freaking touchscreen? Any tips in anticipation of the change to prepare us now for FICO 10T? Yeah, absolutely. The only tip is to make sure that you are reporting a low utilization. That's the only thing that you can do. Keep in mind your utilization only matters on your statement date. So how you are spending on your credit card throughout the month does not matter. The balance that you had on your due date, whether you paid your credit card completely off or left for balance or just paid the minimum payment, your due date balance does not dictate your credit report. Your due date balance only dictates how much interest you owe your bank for that month. Your credit report depends on your statement date. So your statement date is when that billing cycle closes. So the day that your billing cycle closes, your bank has to send the credit bureaus what your balance was on the day that the cycle closed. Whatever your balance was on your statement date, that is going to be used as your utilization. So again, you could literally pay off your entire credit card by your due date. And let's say you make a small let's say you made another purchase before your statement date. You still won't be credited for paying off your credit card all the way off in terms of your credit report. Because the only date that matters for your credit report is your statement date. Your due date only determines how much interest your bank can charge you for that month, for that billing. For that month. If I get an email from Experian that my dispute results are ready, you can open it. Yep. That just means that you have an account with Experian. If you already have an account with them, one of their agreements is just that they can deliver it to you electronically, and that's fine. Don't dispute online, but you can view the results, and then when you respond, make sure you respond via written communication. I didn't see my Amex sign-on points. You talking about like the welcome bonus? You'll have to call American Express, but they normally come. They don't come right away. Like I think they don't come right away. Like it was definitely like a delay for everyone's as well. LexisNexis is a third-party credit reporting agency. Not credit reporting. I'm sorry. The LexisNexis is a third-party reporting agency that collects information on us and you and sells it to different companies in the credit bureaus. So, like most bankruptcies are verified through LexisNexis because they are the ones who supply that information to the bureaus. But they also sell information of yours to like police departments, to the FBI, to Homeland Security, to colleges, to banks, to credit unions, to collection agencies, like literally to anyone who will buy it. They'll sell your information. But yeah, I call them the legal stalkers because that's literally what they do. Like they literally monitor our entire life, including our online. Why do my camera keeps opening on my watch, which is just so annoying. It causes, hold on. I need to turn that feature off. That's driving me crazy. But what I was saying is LexisNexis stalks us and then records the information and then sells it to companies. So that's what LexisNexis is. From your business credit score to like business income and earnings and they collect all of that on the business side and the personal side. They also collect everything that you ever did in a car, red light violations, traffic tickets, parking meters if they file it, but anything that you do in a car, speeding tickets and insurance claims, they collect all of that as well. And then anytime you go and get auto insurance, your auto insurer or insurance provider is going to pull your LexisNexis report. It's called Clue Auto, but it's owned by LexisNexis. So they'll pull your Clue Auto report to determine like your premium. So LexisNexis has a big impact on pretty much every single thing that we do in life, to be quite honest, like from professionally to schools to like everything that we do in life, pretty much LexisNexis has their hand in. How can we get out of the LexisNexis system? And this is the kicker of it all. The only way that you can actually get out of LexisNexis, and you're still not getting out of it, but they'll lock down your report. The only way to qualify for that is if you are, they pretty much have to approve it. So you either have to be a government official, or like a publicly known entity, like a famous person. Like we can't go and buy Beyonce LexisNexis report because it'll literally be able to locate her. But so if you have to get approved to get your file removed. Everyday, and also there are things that everyday people can do to qualify. Like if you are on a protective order from someone, you can request that yours is completely like unlisted. So like there are different situations, but like in terms of just for the everyday person, no, there's no way to stop LexisNexis from buying and selling your information. So for the people who saying like you should do the lock or the suppression, that is not doing anything. Let me just tell you that for right now. When you suppress or lock or freeze, the word doesn't matter, but when you suppress or freeze your LexisNexis report, you do not freeze it from any of your current creditors, the credit bureaus, collection agencies, any applications that you do in the future, and I'm probably missing one or two, but you can't hide it from them, because when you put a freeze on it, all you are doing is hiding it from public facing entities, literally. So that just means that your neighbor can't just go and purchase your LexisNexis report if you have it locked. So yes, while it is a good idea to lock your LexisNexis report, because if you guys see how much information is in your LexisNexis report, which by the way you should see, because you should request your report. It's free. You just have to request it from them directly. They have to send it to you for free. So when you see how much information that they are collecting on you, you can understand how dangerous it is for anyone to have access to that information but you, or like your trusted loved ones, because they have everything. Like literally, if you have a collection agency and you owe them money and they're trying to find you, the first thing they're going to do is go to LexisNexis to see if they can skip trace you. Did you hear me when I say the FBI, Homeland Security? They go through LexisNexis to locate people. If you're on a run, they're going to look at your LexisNexis report because LexisNexis keeps track of everything. Who you get in deposits from in your bank account, what bank accounts you have, any like who you married to, when you divorced, how many children you have, what's the races of you and your children and your spouses, and how many times you've been married, how many times you've been pregnant, what materials your house was built out of, what longitude and latitude is your house exactly located, what is the layout of your house, the square footage. And so again, it's dangerous for anybody to have that information. Like it could be dangerous for the wrong person to have access to that information. So you do need to lock your report. You do. But don't think that you're locking it because you're keeping the credit bureaus out of your report. Like a lot of the one thing that I see online a lot is when you are challenging your bankruptcy, freeze your LexisNexis because it keeps the credit bureaus from being able to verify your bankruptcy. No, it does not. No, it does not. When you place a freeze on your LexisNexis report, they within the terms and conditions and in the disclosure that they email you, if you read it, it literally says we, in more words than I'm about to say, but it pretty much says we will suppress this information from any public facing entity that tries to request your report, but any FCRA regarded entity, which is the credit bureaus and other third party collection agencies, reporting agencies, they can still access it. Also, all of your current creditors or any future creditors if it's within the terms and conditions of their contract. Anytime you apply for any credit card, that long disclosure and terms and conditions that we agree to, one of those is the fact that you give them permission to have access to your credit, obviously your credit report. They can pull your credit, but also to your third party reports for the life of the relationship. That's the important part. So even if they checked your credit, they approved you, whatever, at any point they can pull not only can all of your creditors, like let's say you have American Express, Capital One card, whatever, they at any point they have access to your credit report. So they can pull your credit at any moment to determine, like, let me see have they been maintaining their credit score since being approved? Have they maintained pretty much the overall health of their credit profile? Are they closing, like they'll have alerts set up to see, like, if you close more than 2 accounts within 30 days, that's a red flag. They'll access your credit report to see, and then they'll determine, like, okay, should we close their account or should we decrease their credit limit or whatever. So at any point, all of your current creditors has access to your credit report, as well as your third party reports. Your insurance company, that's how they know if you got in an accident. When you file it, it gets dinged in Clue Auto report, on your Clue Auto report, if it's filed. No, and this is what I was gonna say. So again, everyone should request their LexisNexis report, but also what you should do is you should request that they remove all of the outdated information. It's so important because FCRA states that they can only keep or collect information for up to 10 years, depending on what it is. The credit bureaus have 7 years for most accounts, with the exception of like certain bankruptcies and judgments, right? When it comes to LexisNexis, they get the max of 10 years because they don't have any trade line accounts. Like they're not reporting your credit card the way your credit report reports it. They'll report that you have an account, but they won't monitor like the utilization and stuff. So any information that is older than 10 years on your LexisNexis report, you need to request that they remove it. They had email addresses from when I was in middle. They had my first ever email address, and I want to say I was in like 5th grade, like maybe even younger than that, however old we was when like the internet became a thing. But they had my first email address. They had addresses that I don't even remember. Like anytime you fill out on websites, when you fill out your address, your email, and all of that goes right to LexisNexis. Anytime you pass one of the I don't know the proper name for it, but it's like the scanner where, like, if you're driving, they can read your license plate. Toll tag, like if you're in Texas or other states, but if you have tolls, the little license plate reader, anytime your car is dinged in one of those license plate readers, LexisNexis knows about it. LexisNexis knows about it. They also will record it in your file. And let's say a collection agency, or let's say the police is trying to find you. They're going to say, where have her car been? they're gonna see where your car has been at, and they're gonna probably monitor your bank account to see like where sorry, where you're spending on your cards, what you're spending on your cards, and where you're spending that at. They get all of that from LexisNexis. They can get all of that from LexisNexis. my voice gonna get hoarse. Y'all know how that go. Yeah, they got all that information. Everything you do, LexisNexis has. On average, they have, on average, mind you, I'm saying on average, and this is official studies. On average, LexisNexis has over 290 pieces of information per consumer. Per consumer. Oh, yes. Thank you, my baby. Thank you. You are my favorite girl in the whole wide world. She brought me my ice because my baby know I love ice. Even though I don't want to chew on y'all ear, but what was it? Oh, LexisNexis. What was I saying though? I forgot what I was saying, but whatever, they are important. Please get your LexisNexis report. Please dispute any out. Oh, that's what I was saying. They had, so I was in the car with someone who got in an accident when I was like in college, right? They filed it with their insurance company. I after the accident, like I ain't heard nothing else about it. I found out as I got, older and purchased my own vehicle and had to get insurance. I found out that the reason why my insurance was so high was because the accident that I was in, mind you, I was a passenger. The accident that I was in at that time was being reported as I was the at-fault driver by LexisNexis. So when my insurance company pulled my Clue Auto report, they thought that I had, been in an accident and it was my fault. So I say all that to say, if your insurance is like super high, like unusually high, and you haven't like had any recent accidents or whatever, and it's like unjustifiably high, I guarantee you it's probably because it's something in your Clue Auto report that is justifying why your premium is so high. Literally, my insurance was cut in half after I got that accident removed. And the thing is, LexisNexis is super easy to dispute with. Not, I'll say challenge, because I really don't like saying dispute, but like they're super easy to challenge because I find that for the most part, they're very reasonable. It's so much easier than going back and forth with the credit bureaus. Like the fight with LexisNexis is a lot easier than the credit bureaus, number one. So, and I just find that they are overwhelmingly more helpful and just like more realistic. My eyelashes stuck here. So yeah, get that. First of all, get all of the outdated information off. Literally send them a letter and list every single piece of outdated information and request that they remove it per the FCRA. They usually don't give you any trouble for outdated information. This might sound dumb, but I am new to fixing my credit. I need a loan of $100,000. My credit is currently 635, TransUnion 640, and Experian. Is it too soon to go looking for a lender? That's a large loan, and you gonna want a 700 credit score. If you get a six-figure loan, you gonna want a 700 credit score because that interest on a six-figure loan with what's considered fair credit. Actually, that's technically not even considered fair because fair banks pretty much start considering fair at like 660, 670. Some will 670. So I'll just say like 670. So that's gonna be hard, and even if it's not hard, your interest rate is probably not going to be good at all. What's on your credit right now? Like what is your current utilization? Because I'm trying to figure out ways that's going to immediately impact your score to kind of like get you a few more points before you apply. But like I would not suggest getting it if you can help it. But a six-figure loan with a 630 credit score, your interest rate is going to be crazy. But I mean, if you don't care about interest, like but yeah, of course, your income definitely matters. I'm sure he knows that, like his income matters. I'm assuming that he knows that. But yeah. Let me see. Her kid is the truth. It's worth it. Gifted it to a few friends. Thank you. Yes, if you're actively challenging like collections and charge-offs and late payments and stuff like that, the DIY kit is always available on the site. No, yeah, hell yeah, LexisNexis keeps your addresses. Of course they keep it. They keep more addresses than the credit bureaus. anything that you like, most people's like credit reports are probably not even 30 pages, probably not even 20 pages for most people. Your LexisNexis report is probably going to be 100 plus pages. Mine was like just under 300 pages of just straight information. I'm talking about, I'm reading through this report, learning about my goddamn self. I'm like, I don't remember this. Like, they know more about me than I knew about myself. I'm not even like, it was the strangest thing. The strangest thing. Yo, they had, and for some reason they only had this for one of my children, but they had the birth weight of my goddamn child. I'm like they have everything. They had the race. They said black for my kids. Man, like it's insane. They know everything. They know everything. All old debt, years old, how to start building. Active accounts. You need active accounts. Even if they like whatever, it doesn't matter what you have on your report. I don't care if you have collections, bankruptcies, charge-offs, late payments, or all of the above. You still need to have active accounts so that you can be getting points from somewhere, because no matter how many derogatory accounts you have, if you have active accounts, you will still be getting points. You will always be getting points for active accounts, because every time a payment reports, it goes towards your payment history. Low utilization, you'll still be able to retrieve points from there, no matter how many collections or other derogatory accounts you have. It doesn't matter. So what I always tell people is the best thing that you need or that you should do, regardless of how bad your credit report is or credit score is get a credit card. If you are responsible and know and trust yourself and know that you'll be responsible, get two, because that's going to definitely be better to get two credit cards. And then if you have an extra $25 to $30 a month, I would suggest that you get a short-term installment, like a self loan, a kickoff loan, a pledge loan if you are with Navy Federal, or a credit builder loan if you're with a credit union. It doesn't matter who the company is. Literally, it don't matter. They all do the same thing, which is report your payments to the credit bureaus, and then at the end of the loan, you get the money back. So it's essentially, not technically, but essentially it's you paying into a CD account, and then whenever you complete the term length, which is typically a year or 2 years, you pick, they will send you a check or direct deposit your money back to you. So not only are you saving, but you are also building credit. That is an amazing thing to jumpstart any credit report. No matter what is currently going on your credit report. I don't care if you got 10. I started with 12 collections, 2 charge-offs. I can say the whole thing, because I don't know why. I don't know. It's so strange, y'all, because I don't remember different what's the word I'm looking for? Different steps along the way of my credit journey. But for some reason, down to the T, I can remember when I first realized I had bad credit. I don't know why. And I have horrible memory. Literally, my credit scores was 432, 412, and 423. I had 12 collections, 2 charge-offs, 1 repossession, 87% payment history, and 23 late payments. No active credit cards. I still remember that. Like, I don't know why I remember that so well, but then I don't remember the journey for some reason. It's almost like I just blinked it. Definitely it wasn't like this for sure. But I'm just saying, like, I don't remember the journey, but I remember the exact moment I realized, like, oh my God, my credit is fucked up. Like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get nothing. Probably because I remember it so well, probably because it was a defining, like, it truly was like the defining moment of my adulthood. I was like, oh, this matters. I remember hearing people like mention it and but like I never really paid attention to it. I didn't care about it. Nobody around me cared about it. So it just was like, oh, I see like everybody else living without it. Child, the real world hit. And I'm like, oh, okay. They keep talking about this credit score thing. Guess I gotta pay attention to that. But hell yeah. I mean, yes. I forgot I'm on YouTube and everything. I'm tripping. No, you can't buy a house with 400. At the very least, you got to be at 580. But for most lenders, they're going to require at least like a 630 or 640. What would you say your biggest lesson that you learned in credit? My biggest, sheesh, pressure, because I feel like I got to say something really, really good. honestly, I don't have anything good, but I think the biggest lesson is the importance of credit cards. I don't know. I guess that's the most important, because that's really what's going. Credit cards is pretty much like the only account that has the ability to like change your credit overnight. And when I say overnight, I still mean like a month or two, but that's the only account that has the ability to do it. No loan, no matter the loan amount, you can literally get a $200,000 car loan, and it's still not going to like affect your credit report more than a credit card would at all. No. Okay. I hope I didn't confuse more than okay. So I have this long as say. I don't well, how do I'm trying to figure out how to explain it to where it makes sense. Payment history is the largest factor in our credit scores, and obviously loans will heavily impact your payment history, because every single time you pay it or every month that it's reported, your payment history will be affected. The reason why credit cards weigh more in the grand scheme of things is because not only are you benefiting on a credit card account, you also are going to contribute to your payment history, because any payment that's reported on any active account on your credit report is always going to be counted towards your overall on-time payments. Credit cards affect your payment history at the same rate as how loans affect it. Loans don't affect your payment history more. Any open account affects your payment history equally, right? The reason why I say credit cards are more important is because the second largest factor to our credit scores is literally only for credit cards. It's credit utilization. So no matter what loan you have, if you don't have a credit card, then you will not get any points for credit utilization, which again is 30% of your credit score. In case you don't know like the weight of it, credit utilization alone is worth up to 165 points. And that's just credit utilization. So again, you can have 10 loans. You can have however many loans you want, and you can have paid them on time since the day you signed the contract. And it's still you will still be missing 30% of your potential credit score by not having an open credit card. Because if your credit card's closed, they no longer count. They no longer contribute to your credit utilization. So the reason why I say the best thing you can do, no matter how bad your credit is to add positive accounts, but more specifically, add credit cards. At least two. But like I said, don't ever feel bad for like tiptoeing into it or crawling your way into credit. If you don't want to get two right away, don't get two, because I would much rather you learn and take your time than to get two credit cards and then next thing you know, both of those are charged off because you didn't properly learn how to like utilize your credit card. No. If you have to take it slow, oh well, take 3 or 4 extra months to kind of like slowly walk into using a credit card. Because for a lot of people, using a credit card is foreign. A lot of people are like, it's like voodoo. Like a credit card is like a no-go for a lot of people. A lot of people are very scared. And I know, I don't know how you guys grew up, but I know literally I remember growing up, my aunts, like the older people in my family, it was always don't get no credit cards, stay away from those credit cards. They ain't nothing but trouble. So I grew up thinking like, oh my God, when I see it, like I don't want any credit cards, like I'm not getting a credit card. And I paid for that. I ultimately paid for that because then of course you get older and you realize, wait, I was supposed to be building credit. And the only way I can build credit is this, that, or the third. And then what happens is what happens to a lot of people. They end up allowing the first active trade line on a credit report to be a loan, to be an installment. That's for most people, it's either your student loans. Like for me, my student loans they are my oldest trade line. So for most people, they'll either get a student loan and that'll be the first thing that pop up on their credit report, or they'll get a car, which is, that's just like one of the things that I'm like, I wish I can put it on a billboard. Like, please make sure your kids get a credit card before they get an installment. Because in a perfect world, so if you haven't started building credit yet and you want to know like the best way to go about it, always, and even tell your children, always get a credit card first. Your oldest trade line, you never want it tied to an installment. If you were here on the beginning of the live, we really talked about credit age and how it affects your credit report. If your first account is an installment or a loan, let me just say a loan. If your first account is a loan, understand that no loan is indefinite. Every loan it has a loan term. Every loan has an expiration date. So at some point, that loan is going to close. If that was your oldest account, yes, you will still be credited for having that account reporting, even if it's closed, but it will not credit you as much as it would when it's open. Because remember, all of your open accounts will always mean more than any closed account that you have. I.e., back to the point of, even if you have collections, make sure you have active accounts, because your open accounts, no matter what, will always have more impact on your score. So, but your first trade line or your first credit line being a loan, when it closes, you're going to lose a lot of credit days that you shouldn't have had to. Because if you get a credit card, for your first account, no matter how, because you can keep a credit card for life. Theoretically speaking, if as long as you don't do anything, obviously, or break the terms and conditions or whatever, and make sure you actually use the card, that credit card will be open for life. People who have credit cards, I'm sure, like y'all older relatives or whatever, I'm sure y'all know at least somebody who got a 30, 40-year-old credit card. And I bet you their credit score is 800, but that's beside the point. Man, the biggest regret that I have in this world is not getting a credit card the second that I turned 18. That is one thing. And I don't have regrets. I try not to live with regrets, but I'm gonna always regret that. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I regret that so much. Man, when I tell you I cannot wait till my kids turn 18, I cannot wait. For their 18th birthday, I am driving well, we can apply online now, but on their 18th birthday at 12 o'clock, damn near, we are going to be applying for a credit card. I'm not playing. Like, that's the best thing that you can ever do for your child, is to get them their own. And I'm not talking about being an authorized user on your card. I'm not just talking about that, because that's not enough. It's not enough. Get them their own credit card the second that they turn 18. The second. Obviously, it doesn't have to be the second, but I'm just saying, like, the sooner the better. Because, man, for example, right now my credit score is definitely not perfect, because I don't have an 850. That's for damn sure. But there is not like a singular thing wrong or bad on my credit report at this point, except my credit age. Like, everything is always green. I literally know exactly where every single missing point. First of all, because I know exactly what points I'm missing and what categories I'm missing them in, because I just study, obviously, credit like that. But my biggest thing, or not even my biggest thing, my only thing is credit age. My only thing is credit age. And I know what you guys are going to say. Well, why don't you just buy credit? I mean, why don't you just buy a trade line and add some age to your credit report and da-da-da-da-da. I want true credit age. That is the most true credit age. Whew. True credit age is actually the most beneficial thing on your credit profile. Like, that is the most, literally the shit that you can't buy. You cannot buy true primary trade lines and credit age that's linked to primary trade lines, because that's the key. If your credit age is only dependent and linked to authorized user accounts, I don't care if your score say you got an 850. I guarantee you, when you go down to your bank, your loan, your contract is not going to reflect that you have an 850 in terms of the finance and terms that you're approved for. My whole thing is, I don't want an empty credit score. If I have an 850, I probably will never see 850, because I don't care about having a perfect credit score. That's number one. But if I do ever get 850, it's because it's a true 850. But yeah, like, credit age means a lot. And if you have a child, a young adult in your life, please advise them to get a credit card while they're in college. If they are in college, try to what's the word? Persuade. Try to persuade them, if they are in school, to get a Citi student card or a Chase student card. Please, while they are like in school, because after they get out of school, they don't qualify for these cards. So while they are a student, please get them a Citi student card or a Chase student card. That is going to be their only opportunity to get in Chase at the entry level. And those are both institutions that they can literally grow with. Like, they offer multiple products. They offer multiple different options. If they want a business card or what, they offer that. So that's like literally the perfect companies to kind of get in while you're young and you don't have to have an established profile, because any other applicant who applies for those institutions, you're going to have credit history. You're going to have an established profile. Get them in while they're in college, because if they get the student card, they don't have to have a prior history. And the thing is, though, it's not even because someone just asked, what if you're an adult and you're in college? I know it's an age limit to those. I think that when they say student, they mean like traditional students. Like, I believe you got to be like under 28, I want to say, or maybe like 26. I don't know. But it's an age requirement. They say student, but they definitely don't mean all students, unfortunately.
Mom,
Huh?
are you done?
Almost. I'm about to. What time is it? I can't see the time. Oh, no. It's early.
I was trying to read the books, but
Yeah, I'm gonna save it.
but
Can I go?
but I was trying to get on and look on some books.
More books.
Oh,
you talking about the audiobooks thing?
Yeah.
Bring me your iPad.
He had to log
in. How do you go about writing? How do you go about writing to a bank to keep my credit line open after I finish payment? It's on hold. They shouldn't close your credit card just because you finished, like, because you paid it off. Are you talking about a loan? Because that's different. Like, if you complete a loan, it's no getting them to not close it. Like, they have to by law close that account within 30 days of it being, well, within 60 days of it being satisfied. Because a loan means that you're in arrears. Like, that means that you owe someone. So anytime a loan is open, that means that you have debt. You have active debt, right? When it's satisfied, that account has to close. So, like, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. If you pay it off, or like if you pay according to a loan term, I can't get my words out. Get out, because you playing. If you pay according to the loan term and it just naturally ages out, like, that's fine. There's nothing you can do about that. Whenever you get a loan, it's already counted, first of all, or calculated about how many payments that will reach your credit report, and it knows the loan term. Every loan has an expiration date. There's no indefinite loan. Well, other than them, there's student loans. But that's also why, like, you want to be careful with deferring payments on any loans outside of student, because banks, lenders don't like that. Oh, I'm gonna have to. We gotta create an account. So hold on. Let me see. Capital One. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they ain't gonna get much. What's the good limit for an 18-year-old? Oh, it depends. I mean, that depends on, like, your child. Like, because my whole thing is, like, with my children, I'll say this: with my children, even if, like, because by the time that they're 18, because I'll add them to my credit cards when they're 17, and then by the time they're 18, I'm sure their scores will be over 750. But of course, like I said, it's not a true 750. So they will probably qualify for, like, a credit card of, like, maybe $1,500. I probably start mine off with 500, though. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I don't want them to get too much, because it's one thing to teach a child how to do something, but like, I know, until you actually experience doing something, you're not really learning or, like, retaining the information. So I can beat it in my kids' head until they turn blue about credit cards and da. No. They gon' what I first of all, I'm already knowing the things that I say to my children. It probably goes in one ear and out the other, because I'm their mom. They always hear me talking about. I'm always preaching about money, credit, da. So I'm willing to bet that they're only actually retaining maybe 30% of the information that I'm, like, constantly trying to teach them, and that's cool. But I also, like, so when they turn 18, I'm still making them, like, ease their way into it, because again, I know you wasn't listening Sorry, guys. I know what happened. My Wi-Fi, I guess, clicked off. The best entry level travel card. Entry level and travel cards are not normally synonymous. Even like the cards that are entry level that kind of like claim to be a travel card, it's not really a travel card. So I'm not gonna hold you. You're not gonna find a good travel card at entry level. Like the best thing to do is to wait until you have experience with at least 1 to 2 credit card. I would say at least 2 credit cards, and you have at least 2 years. I would say a year. You pretty much need a solid year, but the more the better. After you have had that and have a great payment history, no late payments on your credit cards and nothing like that, then just apply for a regular travel card. Like apply for the Delta Sky Miles. Apply for if you travel a lot, apply for like the Amex Platinum. Apply for the Chase Sapphire Reserve. The Reserve and the Platinum should only be if you travel like a lot, because they're not worth it if you don't. But if you just casually travel a few times a year, the Delta Sky Miles card is really good. There are so many. It's honestly so many, but like, hold on, the Delta Sky Miles, United, every airline pretty much has a credit card. But my favorite of the airlines, well, I'm biased because I fly Delta, so I like the Delta Sky Miles. Depending on what you fly the most and what's at your home airport, of course, that will determine like what airline you can get. The best travel card, in my opinion, is it's either the Amex Platinum or the Chase Sapphire Reserve. I say either because they literally are pretty much a mirror of one another. I will say though, well, because here's the thing with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, they'll give you a credit limit. With the Platinum, you don't have a preset limit, so it's more flexible. But also with that flexibility comes you knowing that it's a charge card and not a credit card. So you don't want to carry balances on that card. That's not the card to like long-term finance anything on, or like carry a balance. That's the card for your everyday purchases, whether business or personal, whatever, and then you're going to pay it back definitely within 30 days. That's what charge cards are for. If you know that you like to pay things off, monthly, and not just get it over with, you should probably get like a traditional credit card, like the Chase Sapphire Reserve. I would say that's like the biggest difference. I feel like I prefer the Platinum only because I have so many credit cards with American Express, so I'm able to I gain points at a like rapid rate. Like when I tell you I gain so many points, but that's because I'm constantly using one of their cards. And no matter if you're using a personal card or a business card, the great thing about American Express is they put it all in one bucket. So all of my business expenses still goes in the same bucket as my reward points from my personal spending. So I rack up on points. Yeah, Chase still gives you points, but they definitely still give you points. But I guess if you had more Chase credit cards, then you would get more Chase points. So again, I have so many Amex points because I do have way more Amex credit cards than I have Chase cards. So I can't really say that that they're not equal in terms of like earning. The things you already spent every single. What you mean? Things you already. Oh, month, gas, electric. Okay, yeah. That you were piggybacking off that. Yeah. Charge cards are for everyday spending, just like the Amex Gold card, which is nowadays I feel like that's becoming one of the most popular Amex cards, as it should, rightfully so, because that card is amazing for points. But like the Amex Gold card, while it's amazing and why people like to post, oh, I don't have a limit, that is a charge card. That is not a credit card, which is why you don't have a limit. Number one. Number two, you do have a limit. It's called spending power, and it's also not reported to the credit bureaus. So while it has many pros, the cons that no one talks about is when you have a charge card, it does not report a limit to the credit bureaus. So any balance that you leave on that card that reports to the credit bureau, it just looks like you exceeded your credit limit. Not in FICO 8, but with mortgage scores, especially like if you are shopping for a home and you have a charge card, don't leave a balance on that card, because being that it does not report a limit to the credit bureaus, whatever balance that's going to be reported is going to also double as your limit. You know what that means? That means that you now have a maxed out credit card on your credit report. Even if you left $12 on that card, because they don't have a limit, your mortgage scores will automatically duplicate the balance as the limit, which shows that you're at 100%, shows a maxed out credit card, which obviously takes away from your mortgage score. It decreases your mortgage score. Yeah, platinum is all American Express cards are not charge cards, for the person that asks, but most now, like the ones that they're really pushing out are pretty much all charge cards, but they definitely still have credit cards, like the everyday cash. They have credit cards for business and personal. The everyday cash is a credit card. The Plum, I mean, they have multiple. Just go on the website. But yeah, the Amex Gold is a charge card. The Platinum is a charge card. No, the Sky Miles is not. The Sky Miles is an actual credit card. Okay, let me see. Is FICO 8 score good or bad? That's the most commonly like used version as of today. Most lenders are pulling FICO 8, most, with the exception of like home loans and some banks at this point. Best card for rebuilding with a credit score of under 500. Depending on why your credit score is under 500. If it's because you have like recent collections and stuff, then you may have to get a subprime card, which is just a company that is literally like targeted for like people with bad credit. The reason why they're targeted is because obviously they charge you a higher interest rate. And of course, your credit limit is either going to be like 200, 500 or whatever. Don't like look over those cards though, because they do what they're supposed to do, which is just to help you like establish credit or kind of like get your foot in the door. Get nothing wrong with getting those like a subprime card. I literally have to start over with a subprime card. But anyways, get a subprime card. You can go to like Open Sky, First Progress, First Premier. Credit One is considered subprime. The Pedal 1 and 2 cards are subprime. What I'm missing? Mercury, Alo, that's how they say it. Alo, whatever. I'm sure I'm missing 1,000 others, but it's so many. Get a third party credit card. Get one or at the max 2 if you just kind of like want to build a little faster. It's not going to make that much of a difference, but it's definitely going to like allow you to build credit faster. Is having 2 credit cards. Get 1 or 2 and get a short-term installment, and that's it. That's all you need. You can choose to close the subprime card at a later date, but don't close it until you get approved for like your whatever card that you want, like the more traditional card, like the unsecured traditional card from like Capital One, Discover, Citi, Chase, or wherever you want to go. After you get whatever cards that you want, then you can say bye to the subprime card that has an annual fee and will never graduate and has an extremely high interest rate and whatever. Yeah, you can close that after it has gotten you to the next level. People make the mistake of closing it. They'll close their subprime card and then they'll start applying for other credit cards. Never do that. You never want to apply for traditional credit cards without an existing track record of being responsible with a credit card for at least a year. Well, really for at least 6 months, but at least a year is going to be better. If I know I want to purchase a home next year, what are the things that I need to stop doing? I know I don't need to open any accounts. Just as you said, make sure you are done shopping for credit, whether that's credit cards or whatever. Just stop applying for anything. Don't open up any accounts, especially within 6 months of you going to apply. Not even 6 months of when you're going to close. 6 months of when you're going to do your pre-approval. Try to not open up any new accounts or get your credit ran by anyone within 6 months. Because first of all, your lender is not going to like seeing. Most lenders, I'll say that. Most lenders will look at all of your recent inquiries, and you're going to have to write a letter of explanation for every single inquiry you have. So usually it's within like 6 months. Some companies do it within a year, but like most lenders that I work with will do it for like 6 months. Not only do you avoid having to do a letter of explanation and stuff like that to your lender, but also your mortgage score, any accounts that you've opened within the last 6 months, you're going to be penalized for it. So your mortgage score is going to be lower than what it would have been if you did not have an account that was so new, so young. And then going forward, about every 3 months of any new accounts that you have on your credit report up until they're 18 months old. I'm talking like it's a child, but that's how it is on our credit reports, but whatever. Any new account that you have that's younger than 18 months, every 3 months, your mortgage score will age that account. So it'll be considered aged every 3 months, and your mortgage score will increase. The reason why I'm telling you this is because, like, let's say you have an account that you opened up 9 months ago, and your lender is like, you need 5 points or you need a couple points. One of the things that you need to look for is how many accounts that you have that are younger than 18 months. That way, you're able to literally calculate, okay, I got 6 months until we close. So that means in the next 3 months, this account is going to age to 12 months, or it's going to age to 9 months. And every 3 months, your your mortgage score, will increase. And it's going to be small, probably like, a few points, but every point counts with a mortgage. Y'all know that. So that's one of the things that you can look at when it comes to your mortgage scores. Like any account under 18 months, every 3 months, you're going to be rewarded. And then when it turns 18 months, it's considered an aged account. So at that point, it's not considered new anymore. You're not being penalized for having any new accounts or anything like that. You can dispute all of those listed. Oh, you're talking. You can dispute anything that is contained on your credit file or your reporting file, whether that is with the credit bureaus or LexisNexis or any of the other third-party agencies. Anything that's reporting on you, you have the legal right to dispute it, and that's just per the FCRA. So yes, it doesn't matter how minute it is. Like I literally was disputing email addresses from when I was in middle school. No, that doesn't have any impact on my score. No, it doesn't have any impact on my life. But I just don't want them having. It's too much. Like any outdated information, I need you to remove it ASAP. But yeah, like you can request an investigation, because it's not really a dispute. It's really you requesting an investigation, and that's really how you should frame even your letters to the credit bureaus. Like don't go in disputing. Like go in utilizing the consumer rights, FCRA, FDCPA, or whatever, and request investigations or challenge the information that they have reporting. That is what gets deletions. When people just say like disputes, that's typically like just random ass disputes that just, it's typically them using 609. The real T, not even T, but like 609, because a lot of people I still see 609 letters floating around online, and it's just like, oh my God, like I need y'all to quit using that section of the FCRA, because I'm starting to think that's the only section that people know about. 609 is not for the kind of disputing or challenging that you guys should be doing. 609 comes into play when it's identity theft, when it's fraud, when it can't be proven that it's your account. Because if you send a 609 letter for an account that rightfully belongs to you, and the credit bureaus find out it belongs to you, because it's very easy, like that's the easiest dispute or challenge that they can receive, by the way. But when they connect the dots that it's you, which is not too many dots that they got to connect, by the way, but when they see it's you, any other dispute that you do on this account after that is pretty much null and void, because you falsely lied about identity theft. And now that account is red flagged, number one. Number two, you try to do other disputes out after that, they're less likely to even investigate. Like they're less likely to even open the investigation, let alone actually conduct the investigation. No, I never. Someone said, so you don't dispute and say that the account is yours so that they can prove it. That's what I was always taught. No. 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 You're gonna do better. I guarantee. Like if you have an account that you haven't disputed yet and it's derogatory, do me a favor and do this method. First is request a simple investigation from the credit bureaus. Like literally write them a letter with 2 sentences. Say TransUnion, Equifax, whatever. I am requesting an investigation for the following accounts. List every single collection account that you have on the same letter, and then write another letter with the same words. I'm requesting an investigation. Literally say what I'm saying. I am requesting an investigation for the following accounts. Period. And then you literally bullet, or what you call it, look, slash it, just bullet every collection that you have. you would have just put the collection agency name and then the partial account number. At the end of the letter, you just write, your name. Do not sign it. You write your name. I mean, not write or type whatever. Send that to all 3 credit bureaus. That is you officially requesting a full investigation of the account. Because the fact of the matter is, they can easily prove an account is yours because all they have to do is match your zip code and your last name. They don't even need your social security number to verify that an account belongs to you, which is why it's such a crazy dispute to do in 2022. In 2009, it was way more effective. But in 2022, you should never be claiming that. You should never be doing identity disputes. Ever. Don't do ownership disputes, though. You won't win those. Did y'all hear what I just said LexisNexis has on you? It takes the credit bureaus 2 seconds to see that an account belongs to you. If that collection agency says that, if that collection agency give them a zip code that matches the zip code that you have on your credit file, it doesn't even have to be your current one. If they even give them your zip code and your last name right, they automatically say that account is verified based on identity. So when you are challenging your credit report, the worst thing you could do is challenge the identity or the ownership of the account because that's the easiest thing for them to prove. No, get creative. You need to challenge how the account is reporting because that's where the credit bureaus are in fault. Because the credit bureaus, they're not responsible for that account. It's the furnisher of the debt. They own that account. The credit bureaus don't own any account. All the credit bureaus do is report the account, right? And they have a duty to report accurate information to their best ability. They have that duty. So when you challenge the credit bureaus, always try to have your challenges more credit bureau facing fault as opposed to the furnisher. Because when it's the furnisher's fault, the only thing, let me tell you, these are the 2 things that's going to be the furnisher fault. If the price is wrong, if the balance is wrong, 3 things. If the balance is wrong, that's obviously more times than not because of the furnisher, because the information that they supply to the credit bureaus. If the payment history isn't accurate, so if you're saying they're reporting that I was late in October and I wasn't late, that's on the company. That's on the furnisher more times than not. Or if you're saying that this is not your account, you're denying ownership, that's on the furnisher because the furnisher is the one who told the credit bureaus that was your account, right? All of which are super easy to prove. When you put a dispute on the furnisher, understand that you're putting it on the person who owns the account. So yes, they more likely can produce your contracts and your history with the account. Yeah, they're going to be able to absolutely retrieve that information. Even if it's a collection agency, most times they will, obviously not all, but it's way easy for them to do that. So when you challenge things, challenge specific things that could be interpreted as an error, first of all, with the credit bureau. So if you can say, hey, Experian, I was looking at all 3 of my credit reports and I noticed that for my student loan account, you was reporting that I owe $2,000, but TransUnion is also saying that I owe $2,010. So I'm super confused. You always want to sound like a confused consumer when you're disputing with the credit bureaus. Don't sound like a credit repair company. And I own one. Well, we don't accept clients, but I own one, and we still try to sound like confused consumers because when they suspect that it's a credit repair agency, they don't like it. They'll give you a harder time. Well, whatever. So you always want to go in sounding confused. Hey, I noticed that TransUnion is reporting this, and then you're reporting this, because even if it's off a cent, let alone $1, it's considered factually incorrect. So that places the blame on the credit bureaus because number one, if there is misinformation being reported to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, it has to be the credit bureau because I know the furnisher of the debt is not just randomly giving different information to each bureau. Very rarely is that the case. I'm sure there have been a few instances where it was, but very rarely would that be the case. It would not benefit the collection agency at all. So if it's inconsistent, that's typically a credit bureau problem. So not the issue, but kind of like the benefit. The benefit to you when it's the credit bureau's fault is number one, if one is wrong, all of them are wrong. Repeat after me. If one is wrong, all of them are wrong because number one, at this point, if you guys have conflicting information, I don't give a care if 2 credit bureaus are reporting the same thing and then you just have one that is just randomly off. If one is wrong, all of you guys are wrong because this is the same account. You are supposed to be receiving the same information from the same creditor. The fact that one of you have this information wrong, it leads me to believe that I don't know who is telling the truth. So the burden of proof on me, the burden of proof is not on me as a consumer. But if I can introduce enough doubt in your reporting, then I can not only have the consumer laws on my side, but I can also have the CFPB on my side, because it's very clear. You are reporting inconsistent information. And just because two credit bureaus are reporting the same thing, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're right. I have seen numerous times where it would literally be TransUnion, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, they're on the same page, and then maybe Equifax is off. And they all was still wrong. The point is, if there is any shadow of a doubt everything, because now they have to prove everything. So when you challenge specific things on an account, that's harder for them to prove. Like, when, for instance, let's say you have a closed account and you have late payments, right? Obviously at that point, it literally would not even make sense for someone to say, hey, this is not my account. Like that, at that point, especially after it's like charged off or closed, yeah, they're going to definitely come back from that dispute within probably a day. But whatever. If you have a closed account and they have late payments, the easiest thing you can do is look at one of the late payments and literally challenge one single late payment, a random one, just like in the middle. Literally say, and mind you, we never lie to the credit bureaus. We are always ethical and we never break the law when it comes to credit reporting. So how you can say it, because it's never what you say, it's always how you say things. So this is literally what I say, and it's completely FCRA approved, meaning like you are well within your rights for stating it like this. I literally say, I picked one random late payment. This is how I got 22 late payments removed off my student loan. Not removed. They were updated. 22, I had 87% payment history. Now I literally have 100. I will pull up my credit report right now. But anyways, you literally write a letter to the credit bureaus and you pick a random late payment. And it's super great with student loans because student loan payments are typically all over the place because we have so many student loan accounts and each bureau are typically like off, right? So you literally pick one random late payment and you say, hey, TransUnion, I was looking at my credit report and I noticed that you are reporting that I was late in August of 2014. I remember paying my student loans that month. So I want, can you look into this? Right? So you just want to introduce that. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You say, I think I remember paying that month, right? I think I remember, I recall paying that month, right? So what that does is if one of their payments are off, they are legally supposed to, I'm not saying that they always do, but they are legally supposed to verify the entire payment history. So what they're supposed to do is go back to the creditor to confirm every single late payment or one-time payment, and they have to show them proof, like if you pay with a credit card, if you pay whatever. Obviously, that doesn't happen all the time. So what will happen is with me, Experian was my road dog in that, because what they would always do is they couldn't go back and confirm it. So it would always be like, okay, well, we're just going to update it to NA. So mind you, I never said that they updated it to on-time payment. So I'm not claiming that they reversed a late payment. What they did was, if you can introduce doubt into the payment history, instead of reporting a late payment, they'll report NA, right? NA not applicable on your credit report. It weighs none. It weighs none. It's a ghost essentially, right? Like that just means that they can't confirm or deny if you were late. It literally is not a good thing or bad. Even when lenders see NA, it's not anything that they're like, oh, that's late payments. No, because NA happens a lot just because credit reporting is not always, like it just doesn't always happen perfectly, right? So if you can get them to update your late payment to NA, now the weight of that late payment that was weighing on your credit score is now taken off. So now your score went up because the points that this late payment was causing, or the decrease in score that this late payment was causing, is now removed, right? So people mess up when they go and try to challenge late payments, and then they say, can you remove the late payment, or can you delete? Because language is so important when it comes to challenging with the credit bureaus. A human is not reading your letters. The OCR system is reading your letters, and then it's sent through eOscar, right? So you have to talk in a way that computer can understand you, right? So if you introduce any doubt and they cannot confirm a payment, they have to report NA, right? And that's great for you. If a payment goes from late to NA, your score is likely going to go up. Now, if a payment goes from on time to NA, you can see a decrease in your score because, like I said, that payment is now taken out of your overall on-time payments. It very rarely is it going to decrease it substantially when it goes from on time to NA, if at all, honestly, depending on how many payments you have. But the other way is definitely, you want that. Like if it's a late payment, NA is completely fine. NA, like that's a celebration. That's a celebration. No, so when you get a goodwill adjustment, what I was just talking about was only for closed accounts. Because if you have any late payments on open accounts, you cannot do what I just said, because you'll cause the entire account to close. Nope, don't do that. That was for closed accounts and not charge-offs. Just closed. But what was I finna say? Shit, I had a point. I forgot. My mouth, y'all. My bad. I'm chewing all of your ear, but my mouth, y'all. Yeah. Yeah, it's on the website, road750.net, the DIY kit, and other kits as well. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. It was a point that I was trying to make. It was a point, and it's gonna make me mad because I'm gonna think about it. It was important to what I was saying. Shit, what was it? Oh, open account. I mean, yeah. So with late payments on open accounts, somebody asked me, was a goodwill adjustment the same thing as that? No, it's not the same thing at all. A goodwill adjustment is them literally changing a late payment to an on-time payment. The thing with that is only the furniture of the debt only the furniture of the debt has the ability to change the payment history. So if it's an open account and you it's open and you have a late payment, go directly to the company to see if they'll give you a goodwill adjustment. If they give you a goodwill adjustment, that late payment will turn into on time as opposed to just turning into like NA. That's the thing. So if you get a goodwill adjustment, your score 9.9 times out of 10, if you get an actual goodwill adjustment, your score will increase, like for sure, 9 times out of 10. Yeah. Actually, I've never seen it where it didn't increase, even if it was just like 1 point. But for the most part, it's going to be way more than 1 point. The older, if I can talk, oh my God, the older the payment is, the usually the easier it is to get them to update it, like to NA, right? Because it's older, less likely for them to my brain's starting to freeze. I know it's time for me to go. I don't even know what I was just going to say, but yeah, the older it is, the easier. But also, I find that like the ones that are in the middle, like let's say you have like 5 late payments, right? And you literally you can even have 5 like consistent late payments, like they're consecutive, they're right back to back, right? Challenge one in the middle, like literally, it's so random because number one, it's like if they have 5 late payments, why are they not challenging the other late payments? And why are they only specifically targeting 1 month, right? So they may actually be for real. Like, because if they were just trying to get over it, they probably would have asked us they probably would have been challenging all 5 payments, right? But they're very specific about this one. And it's very likely because the thing is when you have consistent late payments on your credit report, a lot of times those consistent payments does get messed up. So it's not far-fetched at all for someone to say, I know it shows that I was late 5 months, but actually I was only late 4 months because one of the months in between I had got caught, I caught up, right? That's not unusual. As crazy as it sounds, it's truly not unusual. So when you do like specifically just target one random one, for some reason, they're just more likely for it to be in your favor, which is why you should never challenge more than 1 late payment on the same account, like at the same time, ever. If you try the letter that I just told you and that does not work, pick another late payment. But you have to make sure that one is done, that investigation is closed, and then your next letter can be another late payment, because then you're opening up an entire new investigation. You never, when it comes to late payment, well, when it comes to most disputes, but specifically late payments, you never want the investigation to continue. You always want them to open a new investigation each dispute in terms of your payment history. You want your payment history as separate as possible. If they're reporting NA for months that I know I've paid, can I challenge that? Technically, yeah, you can. If it's with an open account, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Not if it's with an open account. Now, if it was with a closed account, I can more so see that that's worth it. But if it's with an open account, just literally go to your company and see if they'll be able to like send the credit bureaus like an accurate history or whatever. But like that's kind of like one of those things where yeah, technically you can do it. Is it going to make much difference in your profile? Probably not. Yeah. Yeah, because it's also not unusual. I have active accounts still to this day that like I know for a fact I pay, and it'll randomly be like NA. It's just it's one of those things. Because here's the thing: if your payment history is otherwise on time, and then you have a few NAs in there, that's always going to be just like they're always just going to assume that you were on time anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's not really affecting you. The only way it's affecting you is if it's a late payment. You know. I know, girl. How do you bounce back after a 60-day late? On time. Make sure that all of your active trade lines are on time, and try not to be late for at least a year. Because when it's 30, hold on. When it's for late payments, 30-day late payments and then 60-day late payments are obviously they affect your credit, and you absolutely will lose points. One payment can decrease your score 50 to 100 points, right? However, when it's 30 and 60-day late payments and they are isolated, like you don't like it's not a normal thing for your credit report to have late payments, and you have a 30 and 60-day late. Lenders are a lot of times more willing to either omit that information or just kind of like offer you a little leniency when it comes to that. 90+ day late are considered key derogatory remarks. So a 90-day late payment, 120-day, 160, whatever, 180-day, whatever. Those are all considered substantially late. Like one 90-day late payment. Well, not one, because obviously there's 3 payments, but like that looks horrible. Like literally a 90-day late payment is literally almost the same as a collection. In terms of like the damage that it does to your report. It takes you out the game from applying for 18 months. Like you're just in a whole different arena when it comes to like late payments. Because 30 to 60-day late payments, 30 days is gonna take you out the game for at least 9 months. 60 days is gonna take you out for at least 12 months. 90+, you're gonna have to wait 18 to 24 months to recover from that late payment. Not score wise, just in terms of your entire profile. It's not gonna recover regardless, even if your score rebounded, even if your score you worked your score back, or you got your score back to where it was before you got that late payment, the damage is still not done. Like literally it's not at all, because any late payments that any lender sees when you apply for their application, they're going to, first of all, they're going to look at your payment history for the last 12 months. And that's going to be like the number one deciding factor of if you qualify for the credit card. They're going to look at the last 12 months. If it's any key remarks like 90 days, 120, 180+ days, you need 18 months before you apply for credit. I would recommend 18 months before you apply for credit. If you have a charge off, I would recommend 18 months before you apply for new credit. If you have high utilization, I would recommend a full billing cycle so that you can pay down your utilization, and then after it updates, then you apply for credit. What else? I'm missing something. Any new account is best to always wait 6 months to open up. Like if you're trying to open up credit cards, your first 3 credit cards, you can pretty much open up right back to back, or like literally together. You can go ahead and open them up. But after that, it's always advised to have 6 months between credit card applications, because then it's excessive at that point. It's just super excessive. And then although you may still get approved, because none of these are, I'm not saying that these are deciding factors, full deciding factors of if you'll be approved for credit or not. Absolutely not. But they will. They definitely, even if you do get approved, they definitely will be affecting your financing terms. Whether that's your credit limit that you got, you probably could have got a way higher credit limit had you waited that time. Your interest rate, just the financing terms of whatever you were approved for. Even if you were approved, number one, if you had a 30 and 60 within the last 12 months, you definitely were affected. If you had a charge off or a key remark, like 90+ days late payment, you should have waited 18 months. So again, your credit score matters a little, but when it comes to applications, they don't matter as much as they matter to us as consumers. Like your entire profile is what matters. Well, it's not even about the increase. When I was talking about like waiting 6 months to apply, I wasn't talking about increase because y'all already know I don't care about increase. A lot of people care about increase more than they should. I don't care about increase. So yeah, I wasn't talking about increase. I am talking about new accounts. So if you are approved for that account and the account starts to report on your credit report, it's not advised to apply for other ones within 6 months because, like I said, even if you are approved, your financing terms are affected because new accounts for any applications are automatic red flags. A lot of people get denied for it. They'll literally say you have too many new debt obligations or you have too many new credit items. So like when you get denied for credit and on the denial letter, the reason letter, and they'll list like reasons why you were denied. If you ever see too many new accounts, that literally means that you have at least one new account within the last 6 to 12 months. If they typically, when they say accounts with an S, that means that you have at least 2 accounts that you've opened within the last 6 to 12 months, right? So if you wait a little bit and apply again, you may very well get approved for that credit card because your only issue was new accounts. Now that your accounts have aged, and remember, on your credit report, accounts age in increments of 3 months. So every 3 months, that account is considered older, right? So an account that's 3 months and under. So if you just opened an account and started reporting within the first 3 months of that credit card, it's considered a like baby account at that point. And then from 6 to 9 months, kind of getting a little history. That's why you can start applying for other cards because you've built the history with that card. And then at 9 to 12 months or whatever, that's now older. That's an older trade line. And then once an account hits 18 months, it's considered aged. It's not considered new anymore. Most banks will consider it aged at 12, but for mortgage scores, they don't consider an account aged until it's 18 months. So for most credit cards, it's 12 months. It's definitely 12 months for credit cards. And then for cars, it's 12 months as well. Really for cars, it's 6 months, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I'm getting sleepy. Oh, I gotta get up earlier tomorrow. Shit, because early every day. I'm gonna answer a few more. Yeah, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it on it's gonna be saved on YouTube and Instagram. It's gonna be saved on YouTube and Instagram. I got a video on YouTube about how to dispute repossessions because it's super specific with repossessions. Go and watch it. Shonda Martin on YouTube. It's super detailed. I show you the letters that you need to send, what you need to look out for, all of that. The same goes for bankruptcy, collections, charge off, and anything else you could think of. Hell yeah, I swear I'm so sleepy. I'm an old lady. Listen, my bedtime is like 10 o'clock. Oh, I was like, I know she ain't still up. That's why that would explain why my daughter was just in here like, you done? Because that bedtime, 9 o'clock comes, she already know. How do you feel about filing CFPB reports? I love CFPB reports. The problem is most people file them prematurely. And it just leads to the CFPB. Oh, wait, yeah. It just leads to the CFPB either ignoring you or just siding with the creditor because most people don't realize that if you have not went to the credit bureaus first, gave them a chance to investigate, and then also gave them another chance. So you technically got to give them 2 chances to do full investigations and before you even think about going to the CFPB. And then the reasons that people go to the CFPB is like, oh, they didn't reply to me, or oh, they're not deleting this account. Meanwhile, the reason that you're like wanting them to delete the account or that you explain is literally something like they're reporting the payment history wrong. Technically speaking, per the FCRA, they get to report anything wrong until they know that it's wrong. Like basically saying like they try to report everything to their best ability, but until they know that something is wrong, they cannot be at fault. So when you bring it to their attention that they're wrong, and you do so with how you strategically challenge your credit report, which is why I say it's super strategic, because that first, remember I said the first 2 rounds, I really don't expect deletions. I'm literally just doing those rounds so that in case I do have to get the CFPB involved, I have fully documented my process and I abided fully by the FCRA, right? So the law is on my side at that point. So allow the credit bureaus to make mistakes, allow them to mess up, and then call them out on it. Give them a chance to correct it. And most of the times they're not going to correct it because, again, it's not like a human is reading your credit report. It's literally automatic. So most of the times, especially if it's an ongoing dispute, so like you've already challenged this account, this is a follow-up, they not doing investigations. They just don't. They tell you they do investigation, but they don't do that shit. So most of the times they're auto-verified. But that is great for you. It's not great for you, but I'm saying like you can use that to your advantage because when you go to the CFPB, now you can challenge now you can say that your consumer laws were violated, but you can't say that unless you've already brought it to their attention, gave them a chance to correct it, and then also asked for a second investigation. You cannot go to the CFPB until you've done that. And then people who don't do that properly or they don't allow the credit bureaus the time, they fuck up. Like the CFPB is literally just going to side with the creditor. I know that we think that the CFPB is on our side, but they are also in bed with the credit bureau. So even when you are going to complain about them, you still have to be your own advocate. You have to make sure that all of your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted because the odds are already against you and they're already going to be looking for anything that they can say, oh, well, it's justified. It's justified. So like, I just think that people go to them prematurely or just don't know how to properly like dispute an account. Because honestly speaking, I love when I get to the point of a CFPB complaint because I win most of them only because I made sure that I took the time to have certain things in place first. And I also don't go to them unless I can literally pinpoint which consumer law that was violated. Girl, I don't even know what time I got on her, but I feel like I've been on her for hellas. And then watch as soon as I end it on Instagram, because every time I like do a super long live, it doesn't save it. It doesn't save it. So if it does not save, it will be on YouTube. But hopefully, because sometimes Instagram, if it's too long, it'll just cancel out. All right, let me see. Yeah, they use eOscar, but eOscar is only pretty much like the mailing system, the delivering system, and how they communicate with the furnishers of the debt. The system that we as consumers should be concerned about, because fuck eOscar, that really means nothing. That just means that that's literally how they communicate with the companies, the original creditors. The system that we should be more concerned about is OCR. That's the one that's not on our side. Like that's the one that's against us. You want them to be able to communicate with the furnishers. That's what an investigation is. Yeah, communicate with them. That's their right. OCR is where that OCR eliminates 90%. OCR wins 90% of the battles in the sense of it coded your dispute wrong. That's the most important part of any investigation with the credit bureaus. And my bad, because I do keep saying OCR. So people are saying like, what's OCR? And I'll explain this real quick and I'm gonna get off. OCR just stands for optimal character recognition. So it's literally just a machine, a computer reading your letter and then coding it a specific way. And the way that they code it, they assign it a 2 to 3 digit dispute code. And that is literally how your letter is investigated. So for instance, if you are denying ownership of the account or even hint at denying ownership of an account, it's automatically going to code ownership dispute. You never want them to code your letter ownership dispute. And you want me to tell you a way that you can figure out, because obviously they're not public with this information. They don't tell consumers the code of their dispute code. That's an internal communication. But one way that you can tell if they improperly coded your letter is, number one, make sure that the letter that you sent, the challenge that you sent, was not challenging the ownership of the account. Don't say, I don't recall opening this account. I think this account belongs to my spouse. I think this account belongs to someone else. I think this account belongs to a neighbor. I don't recognize this account. All of those are literally just saying that that is not your account, right? So the second that they think that you are denying the ownership of the account, 011, 011, dispute code, worst dispute code in the world. And how you know that it's that is because when they send you your dispute results back, if it says, so when you dispute something, it'll say one of like four things. If it says we have verified that this account belongs to you, and it's so important, we have verified that this account belongs to you. That means that means that your dispute was coded 011, because again, the only thing that they did was verify that the account belonged to you. An ownership dispute, like I keep saying, that's the easiest dispute type for them, because as long as your creditor can literally present at least one address on your credit report or a zip code in your last name, I can verify an account on a stranger's credit report by guessing their last name and their zip code. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to prove anything other than that. So when you file it 011, all they got to do is say, oh, okay, well, ABC Collections already told the account that they sent already had LaShonda Martin, and then it had her zip code. So we verified that it belongs to you. And that's it. That's where the investigation stops when it comes to ownership, because all they have to do is prove what you said was wrong. And because you denied the ownership of the account, the only thing they had to prove was that it belongs to you. So now you're missing out on the other 32 touch points that has to be accurate and in order on every account on your credit report. Now you can't even, they're not even going to investigate that because you denied the ownership. You denied the ownership. You sent the police report. You let somebody talk you into sending an FTC report. You send an FTC report on an account and it doesn't get deleted as a result of that FTC report. Good luck ever getting that account deleted, because now it's red flag. Now that account is it should have, it damn near has sirens, because like it sticks out like a sore thumb on your credit report in terms of like any other dispute that you do. Any other. So that's what I was just going to say. So make sure when you guys are disputing, don't deny ownership, because you don't want them to code it that. Oh, also, if they say, like, if your dispute results say, I'm trying to think of the exact word, but I'm probably going to be off. But if it says, we verified the info as accurate, that means that you know that they didn't code it one-on-one. And that's good. That's good. It's not good because it didn't get deleted, but you know, following up on that account, you are not you've been coded right. Like, that's one of the best. So your first round, like I always say, y'all, first round, don't ever expect deletions. Like, that's not realistic. Stop letting TikTok and Instagram lie to you guys about it, or set false expectations of how a credit repair process goes. It's not an overnight thing. When people post 30-day results, 60-day results, it's because they did illegal police reports and shit like that. A real true repairing your credit is, first of all, you should always just say, can you investigate this account? Never go and give them a dispute reason. Don't ever, the first round of you disputing an account, never, ever specify what you feel like is wrong with that account. Again, that's the worst thing you could do, because now, instead of having to do a full investigation and conduct a full investigation, all they got to do is prove what you are claiming is inaccurate. So you don't want to be specific, not the first two rounds, because you want them to do a full investigation. And then if they don't do a full investigation, and by round 3 and it's still not deleted, you'd be very specific on, now you can call out, okay, well, if you've investigated this account twice now, like you've conducted 2 full investigations, you're claiming this, I have proof that you're claiming that you've conducted these investigations. How is this information still wrong? Now I can directly prove that either you never gave me a full investigation like I'm rightfully entitled to, or that I have reason to doubt your investigation because you overlooked such an important thing. So you want me to believe that you did 2 thorough investigations on this account. You want me to believe that you thoroughly investigated this account like the FCRA states that I have a right to, and you missed that you were reporting the wrong monthly payment. Like, you missed that you and TransUnion were not on the same page on this same account. Okay, so now I'm going to doubt now that leads me to believe that none of it was investigated. So then now, if you wanted to, you can go to the CFPB at that point. That would be a great point. No, it would be a good point. I like to wait a little longer, because what I like to do is, after 3 rounds or 2 to 3 rounds, depending on what account it is, after 2 to 3 rounds with the credit bureaus, I like to go directly to the creditor, because there is something called a dunning period before a collection reaches your credit report. It's just the time that the collection agency has to give you legally in order to request validation of the account, right? That dunning period is only 30 days. So if you don't catch your collection before it hits your credit report, the dunning period is already over. Literally, by the time it hits your credit report, the dunning period has already expired, right? So a lot of times we miss a unique opportunity to like force the creditor to validate the account. So how to kind of like get those rights back is dispute that account with the credit bureaus twice. Obviously, you need to keep everything that you send them and everything they send you, but dispute it twice. Every time you dispute an account, the credit bureau is supposed to go directly to the company to tell them that you investigate. I mean, you are disputing the information. Da 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 da. So after the credit bureau has disputed it or investigated it twice, and you still don't agree with the account, nor has the credit bureau sent you anything like a contract or anything bearing your signature, anything with the original creditors on the original creditor's letterhead claiming that the collection agency has rightful ownership of the account, they're likely not going to send you this, right? So if they don't send you this, now the FDCP, some of your FDCPA rights come back into play that had pretty much stopped after the dunning period. Now, if you do not agree with what the credit bureaus, if you do not agree with the credit bureau's investigations, now you can legally go directly to the creditor and request that they fully investigate the account or they fully validate the account. Now you can go to them, and then and if they don't do it, which some of them won't, they definitely won't, then now that's the perfect time to file a CFPB report. Not before that, not because the credit bureaus took 90 days to reply. All of that, when it comes to time and shit, they can justify all that shit. I'm sorry, I don't mean to curse, but they can justify all that by just saying we're backed up. They are still claiming that they're backed up from the last time I checked. I swear it was so ridiculous. I think they said like March of 2021. Like, no, you're not. You are not still looking at disputes from March of 2021. But regardless, when it comes to them justifying the time, they always gonna come up with a BS answer. And of course, the CFPB is gonna eat it up. It ain't like you can prove that they're not that behind. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of like one of those things, like it's a fight, but is it worth fighting? Because do you have a chance of winning that fight? Probably not. Not all battles are worth taking, and that's one of them, in my opinion. The time after COVID, it's done for. If you was gonna be mad about like them not responding in a timely fashion, you should have did that pre-COVID, because that's when it mattered. Now it literally does not matter. You can't even sue the credit bureaus for time now. You can't even sue them because they literally got a it was approved by the CFPB for them to get an extended investigation times, and all they got to do is keep saying that they're behind, and they're probably gonna milk that for another 2 years. Because how are you still claiming you're in March of 2021? Like, be fucking for real. Because exactly, I see people all the time still disputing now and getting responses in 30 days. Like, so you mean to tell me the new disputes are getting, because that's really what's happening. What happened was, I feel like during COVID, and when they really were like, they had reduced staff, and they had closed for a moment, I think that they just jumped all those letters. I don't think they investigated them. They just probably like all of them gone. And so that's why new disputes are being processed, and people are literally still waiting from last year. That's why I said, child, if you're waiting for more than 90 days, just send it again. Just send it again. You filed a CFPB report for time, and they sided with. I'm telling you, they are not regulating it. Like, they are not regulating it. And you know what's funny? Not funny, but y'all know I monitor like all of the court cases pretty much, and with like the bureaus, the CFPB and shit and stuff like that. It was like a few months ago, I seen somebody tried to sue the credit bureaus for time, and they didn't win. Literally, that's why I said we have no legal protections for time right now. So complaining about it is you might as well talk to a wall, because there's nothing you or I can do, nor will the CFPB do, nor even if you waste your money taking them to court, it's nothing that they would do, because they are not regulating it. I hired a credit repair specialist, and she literally told me she was sending a dispute the other day because they failed to respond. Maybe she got her method. Listen, just because I do something one way don't mean that it's the only way, or like that don't mean that someone else's way is right. I mean, it's wrong. Nope, don't do that because they may have a method to the madness, child. I don't know. Nope, it's never one way to skin a bear. Exactly. They could get the same results. They just may take a different route, and that's also okay. Even the illegal route. Stop being messy. Have you stop? Why y'all being messy? Stop asking me about. I ain't heard about nobody else's business. Nobody. I kid you. Unless it's the credit bureaus, I do be in a business. I'm not gonna hold you. I be in a government business, and I be in a credit bureau's business, and I be in like banks business. I do be in a business, but like people, I don't. My name is Bennett. I don't even know these people. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on nobody else's personal life. Now, I do got an opinion on like government. We can talk about that all day. But other people's personal life, I absolutely have no opinion. No. Have you ever been investigated by the FBI? I haven't. Child, hell no. I ain't never. I've had one traffic ticket in my entire life. No, I don't play with the laws, child. No, it ain't no amount of money worth my freedom. I don't give a fuck. I will struggle. I'm not gonna be in nobody's jail. I'm just not. But that's just me. And also, like all jokes aside, I think that when it comes to credit reporting, people never actually read the law, so they don't realize how many, number one, rights that we have as consumers, and then number two, how often they are violated. Like I kid you not, if only you realize, like, I need to just do a full live going over just like laws that y'all should know of. Because like I said, I hear 609 a lot, but like it's so many other laws that you can take advantage of and utilize. I do need to do a video on that. But like I said, like if you actually know the laws, it's easy because a lot of times these companies are violating you. Every single day, collection agencies violate people when they don't like realize that they're being violated. So it's easy. Like, you know how they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. If I was a like collection agency or a lender, it's super easy to get over on people. It really is, because they know most people are not reading the laws. And this is not a dig at any person, but I'm just saying in terms of like being a lender, they don't have to try hard to be shady or deceptive. They do the shit in our faces because they just know that most people don't know. So when you are a professional in a space, in my opinion, you do have the responsibility to like properly do your research, be careful with what you are advising. One thing, if y'all ever join my live, one thing, people ask me about business credit every day. I have extensive personal history and experience with business credit, but because I'm not certified in business credit and because I don't know the ins and outs in terms of every law and I don't even advise on it. And even if I know the answer to the question that someone is asking me, I stay in my lane, proudly so. Anything about a personal credit report, you can ask me, and I can answer it. And also, if I don't know it, I'm gonna say I don't know it. Like if you think that I know every single thing that there is to know about credit, and I don't, like, no, but I will research it. I'll say I don't know, but I'll look into that or whatever. But I stay in my lane. I don't advise on anything that I'm not deemed an expert in. I stay in my lane. I like nah. I like peace. I live in peace. So I like cruising in my own lane. And I just think sometimes, money, it's kind of sad, honestly, because, with social media, money is so glorified. So people really will do anything for money. And, just, I don't know, child. And sometimes people don't know that they're breaking the laws also. But of course, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So even if you're breaking the law unknowingly, you still can be punished for it. Yeah, child. I can't fix my personal credit to save my life. I ended up Lex Law and they taking too long. Are you building credit though? Why you? Because this is the thing. You can pay TransUnion directly to dispute your credit. That's a joke. But I'm just saying, like, it doesn't matter who you hire to dispute the accounts on your credit report. No one can build credit for you. You can't hire anyone to build credit. So it's only so much that they can do. Even like for example, if a credit repair agency got every negative item deleted off your credit report, you can still have a 400 credit score. So you have to build credit too in order to the points come from building credit. Most of your points are going to come from building credit. So again, any company can only do with so much. You can only do with so much. You still have to build credit. You just got to build credit. That's where, if you're not building credit already, get a credit card. Now I guarantee you that your score is going to go up. And if someone is repairing your credit and you don't have active accounts and they're telling you not to get an active account, that's a little red flagish to me, because what is the goal here? If the goal is to have an overall healthy credit profile, then why would it not have a credit card? But a lot of times they tell you don't. Well, never mind. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, we are actually, I have the flyer and I was supposed to post it today, but we are doing another home buyers webinar where, I'm teaching you exactly how to prepare your credit score, your mortgage score, teaching you how to increase your mortgage score specifically, because of course it's not the same as your FICO 8 score. So I teach you how to get credit ready and all of that, and then things to prepare for, expect through home ownership, whether you're building a house, buying a pre-owned home, or I'm tired. I really can't explain it right now, but I was supposed to post that today. I'm gonna post it probably tomorrow. Yeah, it's 10:40. I'm finna get off here. And my ice is melting. Yeah, you can get the DIY kit at roadto750.net. I got a DIY kit, a bankruptcy kit. I swear I'm having a brain freeze tonight, child. They on the website, roadto750.net. Yes, individual utilization matters to mortgage scores more than they matter to FICO 8. That's definitely one of the major ways to specifically target your mortgage scores. You missing out on a lot of money by not. I am a firm believer. I can never miss what was for me, ever. If it was for me, it wouldn't have missed me, right? If it missed me, that means it just was not for me, and that's okay. Oh my God. Why the fuck did I just read that about comment? See, look, the hell nah. When is the home buyer? I'm gonna post a flyer tomorrow. I shouldn't even, because I'm gonna post a flyer tomorrow. On Instagram. I'm posted. Yeah, it's first come, first serve. I need to turn my notifications on. It always go fast. This one I don't feel like it's gonna go as fast, only because we're given way more time. The webinar is not for another 2 or 3 weeks, but the tickets are going on sale early. Normally I do it the same week, and that's why it goes so fast. But you got time. You got time this time. So don't be stressed. I highly doubt that something 3 weeks out would just go the first day. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, it's gonna be me and MG. We're basically doing what we already did, the home buyers webinar that we already did. All right, y'all. So I am going to get off of here because I am freaking sleepy, and I gotta get up early. So you guys have an amazing Alexis Nexus course. I wouldn't do it. Well, okay. I guess I'll do a YouTube video. I don't think that's webinar worthy. If I'm gonna do a webinar, it has to be a lot of information. And Lexus Nexus, I'll just do a free YouTube video. But yeah, I will talk to you guys later. I'm gonna try to go live tomorrow. I think I'm filming up until 5, and then maybe I'll go live at 9, and we'll get back into it or whatever. But you guys have an amazing, blessed night, and talk to you later. Bye. I'll save it on Insta, and then of course it'll be saved on YouTube.